Chapter 387. Lu Chun. I really want to thank you this time. Wang Xiaoling's eyes were bright, and she sincerely said to Lu Chun, I didn't expect you to come. When she was at home, she was guarded by the bridesmaids in the bedroom, and Gao He was not allowed to enter outside. She was actually very anxious in her heart, for fear that Gao He couldn't help but lose his temper and make both sides unable to step down. It's not uncommon to get into trouble because of picking up the bride. There are even cases where they want to divorce on the spot. Fortunately, Lu Chun was like a divine soldier and heavenly general, and easily solved her relatives and sisters, so that she could smoothly complete this important step in her life, and naturally, she was very grateful in her heart. Lu Chun said with a smile, Sister-in-law, you're being too polite. What kind of friendship do I have with the eldest brother? Gao He held Wang Xiaoling's hand and smiled honestly. Wang Xiaoling grinned and said, Anyway, thank you. I heard that your girlfriend, Chunf, is also here? Lu Chun nodded. Bring her to meet the bride tomorrow. Wang Xiaoling was delighted. That's great, I'm her fan. Lu Chun asked Gao He, Boss, how is your work now? Before Gao He graduated, he had already talked about a job in his hometown of Ji City, but in the end he chose to stay in Hangzhou for the sake of love. Zhou Rui said that he and Wang Xiaoling worked in the same game company. Zhou Rui's words were a bit vague. Lu Chun thought that this job was estimated to be ordinary, and it certainly couldn't be compared with the fading company where Old Four worked. So he asked with great concern. Gao He didn't hide it. The company he and Wang Xiaoling worked in was not big. It was a game production company that was established the year before last. It was mainly engaged in the production of web-based games and mobile games. At present, it has produced 2 small games that were not very popular. The salary is enough to live on, Gao He said. A small company also has its advantages. At least I can get in touch with more things. I still focus on learning and exercising. I have accumulated enough experience, and I can change jobs or work on my own in the future. He added, Mobile games are really popular now. A small game can make millions every month. Of course, the competition is fierce. Gao He also has an idea. He can't let Wang Xiaoling suffer with him all the time. The housing price in Hangzhou is so expensive. He can't afford to buy a house with his current salary. If he has a chance, he still wants to start his own business. Although the risk of starting a business was great, without risk, how could there be any substantial gains? Gao He joked to Lu Chun, If I make my own mobile games in the future, I will definitely ask you to endorse them. You have to give me a big discount, haha. Smartphones had already entered a period of rapid development, and mobile games had also flourished. The scale of the market continued to expand, reaching a very shocking level. It was common for celebrities to endorse mobile games. Lu Chun had also received endorsement offers from several companies, but he had turned them all down, not because the price was low but because the quality was not high enough. But now he was thinking about something else. Lu Chun studied computer applications in college. Of course, he understood the trend of smart mobile phones and entertainment. He knew that creativity was the most important thing in today's mobile games. Apart from the quality of production, a mobile game with excellent creativity, even if it's just a simple 2D picture, can still be very popular, while a 3D mobile game with huge investment and exquisite production can be found everywhere. In Lu Chun's dream world, there are also many classic games, including many popular mobile games, which are like treasures waiting to be excavated. If he hadn't embarked on the current road, he would have worked in a game company to accumulate experience and original capital, and then come out to start his own business. With these creative wealth in the dream world, he believed that he could also do a real career. Lu Chun thought about it and said, Boss, you can come out after this year. I will invest in mobile games for you. Gao He was stunned. Third brother, I'm kidding. He doesn't doubt Lu Chun's financial resources, but he has no confidence in his own ability. After all, he hasn't been in this industry for a long time. It's no problem to do his own thing, but if he opens an independent company to run a project, it's a completely different matter. Lu Chun may not care about the failure of his investment, but how can he live with it in his heart? Lu Chun shook his head and said, I'm not kidding. I really have such a plan. You know that I can't run a game production company by myself. If I let you do it, I can rest assured. Lu Chun thought about it. Instead of benefiting others, It's better to benefit Gao He. He also laid out for his own big IP plan in advance. One must know that the interests involved in the game copyright are very huge. At present, in order to gain a foothold, Lu Chun is making contacts everywhere to share benefits, but the core interests of the big IP plan must always be firmly in his own hands. For example, he is currently updating and publishing The Smiling Proud Wanderer in Waves Literature. If the book can sell well in the future and eventually form a high-quality IP, then film and TV adaptation is inevitable, and gamification is indispensable. Instead of selling the relevant copyrights at once, why not make full use of the copyrights to seek greater benefits? Lu Chun doesn't have the energy to do such a thing himself, but he can invest and acquire related companies, and eventually build an entertainment empire. This is Lu Chun's ultimate ambition, to become a perfect star. Gao He still wanted to say something, but he was secretly stepped on by Wang Xiaoling. The bride stared at the groom with resentful eyes. Are you stupid? You don't cherish such a good opportunity in front of you. Do you really think that you can make a career by yourself in the future? It's not a shameful thing to rely on brothers, friends, and connections to help. As long as you work hard and are worthy of Lu Chun's investment and support, you will have a clear conscience. Gao He was ashamed. Then I'll think about it. His head was apaced, he was happy and frightened, a typical technical otaku mentality. Lu Chun smiled and said, "Don't think about it today. Your task today is to be the most competent groom." Gao He nodded. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was sunset and dusk. Gao He and Wang Xiaoling's wedding banquet was on the second floor of the hotel. The two newlyweds, accompanied by the best men and bridesmaids, went to the entrance of the hotel to welcome the guests. Lu Chun did not follow them because of his special identity. He sat in the seat of the host and still became the focus of attention of the audience, and the ones who felt the most glory on their faces were probably Wang Xiaoling's parents and family. Gao He's father, Taishan Taishui, was originally firmly opposed to the relationship between the two. He didn't want his beautiful daughter to be with a foreigner who had no money and no power. In the last year, he could only see her a few times unless he bought a house in Hangzhou. However, Wang Xiaoling's determination was too great. She directly pulled out the marriage certificate. Wang Xiaoling's parents had no choice but to recognize it. Otherwise, not only would they lose their daughter, but they would also be laughed at by their relatives and friends. Of course, it was certainly impossible to expect the two to happily organize the wedding. However, they never thought that Lu Chun, a big star, would actually come to be Gao He's best man and personally came to pick up the bride at home, which made old Wang's family instantly become the object of hot discussion among the neighbors. That was simply too much face. Wang Xiaoling's parents had heard from Wang Xiaoling that there was a very great person among her classmates and friends. They really didn't know that Lu Chun and Gao He had such a good relationship. Why did the two of them become the villains who broke up the lovers? If Lu Chun casually helped him, Gao He would probably be able to mix with the wind and water, right? No wonder the two of them were so unscrupulous. Just now, the general manager of the hotel came to the scene and respectfully asked Lu Chun to take a photo and leave a message. Then Lu Chun said a few words and this wedding banquet, which cost a lot, was given a big discount, at least saving them tens of thousands of yuan. In fact, in the final analysis, Wang Xiaoling's parents didn't want their precious daughter to suffer with others. Since Gao He has such a good friend, it will undoubtedly make them feel a lot more at ease. They were also glad that they didn't make the wedding banquet very low level, and invited the wedding MC to preside over the ceremony. Otherwise, they would really lose face in front of their relatives and friends. As time went by, almost all the guests who came to the wedding banquet arrived. The bride and groom returned to the hall again, and the wedding ceremony officially began. Purple swallows like to soar on the ecliptic day. The mandarin ducks are a beautiful couple. The red plum blossoms spit out fragrance and become a couple forever. Today is June 18, 2016 AD. In this joyous, vibrant, and auspicious day, we meet at the wedding banquet and get together to celebrate the wedding of Mr. Gao He and Miss Wang Xiaoling. The music of the wedding will sound, the hearts of the lovers will collide here with the most brilliant sparks, and the newlyweds will walk into the sacred palace hand in hand. In the passionate recitation of the wedding MC, the wedding march sounded, filling the entire hall with a joyful atmosphere. The well-dressed newlyweds grandly appeared on the stage. Wang Xiaoling, who was wearing a white wedding dress, smiled and was particularly happy. She had never been as beautiful as she was at this moment, and Gao He also looked confident and energetic. The newlyweds firmly attracted the attention of all the people present, and even Lu Chan had to retreat to a supporting role. 100 years of cultivation crossed the same boat, and 1,000 years of cultivation sleep together. Life is a flower, and love is the honey of the flower. When love is ripe, men and women become husband and wife through legal means. The most moving scene in everyone's life will begin. Here we congratulate the two of you for having two loyal hearts, having 100 years of hair and living in spring and autumn. We sincerely wish the two newlyweds 100 years of marriage and a long life together. Let's congratulate the two of them on their happy marriage with warm applause. The applause exploded in the banquet hall, and all the relatives and friends sent their most sincere blessings. Wang Xiaoling was so excited that tears overflowed from the corners of her eyes. And this scene gave Lu Chan a wonderful feeling in his heart. Happiness, in fact, is so simple. Chapter 388. The care of the leaders, the affection of friends, the beautiful flowers, the intoxicating wine, the smiling faces, the blessings, all express a common wish to the newlyweds. We sincerely wish the lovers a happy life. We sincerely wish the good people a safe life. We eagerly call for the spring of love. We sincerely pray for a better tomorrow. Thanking relatives and friends, kneeling to their parents, and the husband and wife made vows. When this simple and grand wedding ceremony was coming to an end, the wedding MC led the guests to send their final blessings to the newlyweds, and also pushed the wedding atmosphere to the climax. At this time, the wedding MC should have announced that everyone could start eating, and there would be a game lottery or something, but she suddenly changed the subject and said, "Before the banquet officially begins, there is a very special guest who has a few words to say to the bride and groom. This distinguished guest is a good friend of the groom, and I think everyone must know him. He is..." The voice of the wedding MC suddenly rose by an octave, and it was heartbreaking. "Mr. Lu Chan. Please welcome Mr. Lu Chan." Wow, the warm applause sounded again, and many guests stood up and looked in the direction of the main wedding table. Many guests already know that Gao He and Wang Xiaoling's wedding has invited the big star Lu Chan to attend, and this big star is a good friend of the groom. If it weren't for the wedding scene, I am afraid that many people would have rushed to take a picture with Lu Chan and ask for an autograph. Now hearing that Lu Chan was going to appear, all the guests' attention was attracted, even the waiters present. Under the gaze of countless people, Lu Chan calmly walked onto the stage of the banquet hall. He took the microphone from the hand of the wedding MC and said with a smile, "Hello everyone, I am Lu Chan. I am also a classmate and good friend of the bride and groom. On this happy day, I am here to send the most sincere blessings to the two newlyweds. I wish them 100 years of happiness and an early birth of children." Everyone laughed and clapped, and some people whistled. Even more people raised their phones up high to capture Lu Chan in the camera. They filmed or videotaped him and then posted it on their blogs or WeChat moments. Gao He, who had just returned to the wedding seat, stood up again and cupped his fist to thank Lu Chan. "Thanks, brother." Lu Chan waved at him and continued, "In addition, I also want to give them a special gift, which is a song I wrote for today's special day." Lu Chan was going to sing for the bride and groom here. Everyone immediately became excited. Their palms clapped loudly and cheers rose and fell. Usually, if one wanted to listen to a celebrity like Lu Chan live, they would have to pay at least a few hundred yuan, not to mention being so close to him. It was really an opportunity that one could not ask for even if one wished for it. Especially some young girls, they were so excited that their faces were flushed. Therefore, even though the waiters had already started serving hot dishes, not many people cared about eating and drinking, even though most of them were starving. Lu Chan took the microphone and sat in front of the piano placed on the right side of the performance stage in the banquet hall. This piano is an ordinary joint venture brand, and it is not very well maintained, but it is more than enough for an impromptu singing accompaniment. He first inserted the microphone into the shelf placed on the piano, then took out his mobile phone and opened it, placed it horizontally in front of the microphone stand, and sent a video call request to Chanfei. Chanfei quickly connected, and the screen showed that she was at Tian's house. "Hey, are you looking for me?" Lu Chan said. "Yes, I'm at the wedding. I'm going to sing a song. Let's listen to it together." "Ah, I want to listen too." Tian Tian's head appeared in the video camera, and she looked excited. It's so lively over there. Luchan smiled and said, let's listen together. He said into the microphone, the name of this song is For You. As soon as he finished speaking, Luchan skillfully pressed the black and white keys to play the prelude. With the sound of the zither, his expression became focused and serious, and a faint smile appeared on his face. This song was for the bride and groom. He will be your bridegroom. Henceforth he will be your companion for life. Everything about him will be closely related to you. Fortune and misfortune must be born together. She shall be thy bride. She was entrusted to you with all her heart. Thou shalt double the care of thy life. Whether it is pain or joy, we must share it together. It must be a special fate. Only then could they become a family along the way. How much he loves you, you should pay him back a little more. The possibility of finding happiness. As Luchan sang, his bright eyes slowly swept over the faces of the bride and groom. This song For You is undoubtedly a work that is very suitable for singing at weddings. The melody is beautiful. The lyrics are moving with warm blessings and prayers, which makes people feel good when they listen to it. Although it was an impromptu singing, Luchan still integrated real emotions into this song. Of course, he sang it for the bride and groom, but wasn't he also singing it for himself and his beloved? Part 2. From now on we are no longer alone, you have to think about us all the time. How much you give, love is a little more complete. It must be a special fate. The banquet hall became very quiet. There was no noise, and even the waiters who served the dishes slowed down. On this day here it was their luck to hear such a song. Wang Xiaoling has been in tears. She and Gao He fell in love in college and had a sincere love. This relationship did not fall into a routine separation because of graduation. The most important thing was her persistence and efforts. She believes in love and is willing to make sacrifices for love. Today she is frightened and sad, but also happy and joyful. Lu Chen's song easily evoked her heart, and made her shed tears that she didn't know whether they were sour or sweet. Sparkling tears washed away her makeup until a big warm hand held her hand tightly. Wang Xiaoling raised her head and saw Gao He's firm look, and her fluttering heart suddenly fell to the ground. Very steady, the newlyweds snuggled up to each other and quietly listened to the song from Lu Chen that represented blessings. Today is a special day, and this special gift, the two of them will never forget it in their lives. At the other end of the phone, Chanfei stared at Lu Chen on the screen and listened. How lucky she was. Note: For You lyrics, 11 Lang/composer. Zhang Yu. Chapter 389. May all the lovers in the world get married. This is Lu Chen's new blog post in the Waves blog that night, congratulating his college friends Gao He and Wang Xiaoling on their marriage, and wishing the new couple happiness forever. There is also a video attached to the blog post, which is a clip of him singing For You at the wedding. This 5-minute video was shot by Zhou Rui, and it is very well shot. For Lu Chen's fans, especially his fans, it is undoubtedly a very happy thing to be able to hear his new songs from time to time. And it is such a warm work. It's good. I want to get married after listening to it. I have a house and a car, and I'm just missing a bride. Alas, the single dog has been abused again, sad. Haha, when my girlfriend and I get married, we must play this song at the wedding ceremony. I just want to know, when will my Chun and my Fei get married? Same question. Seeing these comments, Lu Chen couldn't help but ask Chenfer, who was leaning against him. My Fei, when are we getting married? Chun Fei giggled. She blinked charmingly, drew circles on Lu Chen's chest with her long white fingers, and asked in a sweet voice, do you want to get married? Lu Chen thought about it seriously. Yes. To be honest, when he sang the song For You, at the wedding of Gao He and Wang Xiaoling, he really wanted to get married. Chun Fei hugged Lu Chen's waist, leaned her head on his arms, closed her eyes and said, in another 2 years when I'm over 30 we'll get married, okay? Lu Chen smiled. Okay. Chun Fei opened her eyes, and the two looked at each other, with indescribable tenderness and sweetness in their eyes. Lu Chen lowered his head and kissed her charming lips. Ah! As soon as their lips touched, there was a cry of surprise. Tunton, who was carrying a plate of fruits, appeared in the living room and said coquettishly, you two pay attention to your image. This is my house. Are you trying to make me unhappy by showing off your affection in front of me? Luchan was a little embarrassed and scratched his head in embarrassment. This was Tiantian's home in Hangzhou. Originally, they planned to stay in a hotel, but Tiantian said that it was not convenient for them to stay in a hotel, so they stayed in her home. Anyway, it was just one night. She lived in Luchan and Chen Feier's home in the capital. Chen Feier blushed slightly, but she was not afraid of her. She straightened up and said, "Then let's go to the bedroom. Remember to put on your headphones." Tiantian was stunned for a moment before she reacted. She couldn't help but blush. "Sister Feier, you've learned bad things." She hadn't had a boyfriend yet, so she was naturally shy when talking about such a sensitive topic. She quickly put down the fruit plate and ran away. "I'm afraid of you guys. I'm going back to my room." Tiantian was so shy that she ran away. Chen Feier smiled and said, "The little girl is also in love." Luchan shook his head, got up and leaned over to pick her up. "Wife, let's go to sleep." Chen Feier shrank in his arms and giggled. At noon the next day, Luchan took Chen Feier to have lunch with the newly married Gaohe couple. Chen Feier also prepared a gift for the newlyweds. It was not a very expensive kind, but the intention was enough. Then the two ended their trip to Hangzhou and took the high-speed train back to Jinling. They continued the intense shooting of Full House of Romance. Due to the cooperation of many big shots in the industry, the shooting of Full House of Romance was coming to an end smoothly near July, and it would soon be officially completed and transferred to the post-production stage. It was a foregone conclusion that Lu Chen's second TV series would be broadcast during the summer vacation. So Beijing Television and Zhejiang Satellite TV, which had obtained the premiere rights, launched a publicity campaign in advance. The official V of Full House of Romance had already been online on the Waves blog. Every day, a variety of shooting footage was released to tease fans, and the early promotion was very colorful. But this doesn't mean that Full House of Romance can rest easy and sell immediately after it is broadcast, because there are many TV series that are also broadcast during the summer vacation, some of which are big productions, and there are also many dramas like Autumn in My Heart. Among them, the one whose publicity campaign is stronger than Full House of Romance is undoubtedly Shonan TV's self-produced drama, Sea of Love. Shonan TV is famous for its publicity and hype in the circle. This new drama, which will compete head-on with Full House of Romance in the summer vacation, of course, it is inevitable to invest a lot of resources in brainwashing promotion. The official V of Sea of Love was released earlier than Full House of Romance. In terms of the number of stars, it is also big than Full House of Romance. Shonan TV claims to have invested more than 100 million yuan to create the best romance drama of 2016. Sea of Love was officially completed on June 25. On the 28th, Shonan TV's Ace variety show Entertainment Big Names Show invited the main crew and main actors of this TV series to appear. In the show, Lu Dewey, the director of Sea of Love, confidently said that this TV series is definitely one of the best shows this year, and he expects the average ratings to be at least 2% or more. And Hu Yang, who plays the male lead, claimed that shooting Sea of Love is a great challenge for him. He also showed his best state and acting skills, believing that he can bring a different experience to the audience. Although there is no name mentioned, many viewers can smell a strong smell of gunpowder when watching this episode. They feel that Shonan TV can't wait to use this TV series to fight with their opponents. Then on the 30th, when Hu Yang participated in an announcement, he accepted an interview with an entertainment reporter. He publicly said that his goal is to defeat Lu Chan and use Sea of Love to prove his strength. As a result, this news immediately appeared on the entertainment pages of major media, and even a few small headlines. Those editors who want the world to be in chaos have added oil and vinegar while reprinting, plus some people adding fuel to the fire. In the blink of an eye, the popularity has been stirred up. Hu Yang challenges Lu Chan. Who is the new idol best actor? Hu Yang versus Lu Chan, the showdown of the new generation. Not willing to be a supporting role, Hu Yang's counterattack. Lu Chen's new drama faces a great test. Between Full of Romance and Sea of Love, which one do you think will win? In the big summer ratings competition, who can hand in a better report card? The entertainment news and interview video of Hu Yang challenging Lu Chan also appeared on Waves blog at the same time, which immediately caused a big uproar. The number of his fans has also increased greatly, and soon appeared on the homepage of the hot search list. Hu Yang and Lu Chen's fans therefore launched a fierce confrontation on the blog. For a time, the domestic TV series market with the arrival of the summer vacation, there is a great momentum. Chapter 390. The 22-year-old Hu Yang was undoubtedly one of the hottest new idols in the entertainment industry. More than half a year ago, he was still a signed artist of a small agency under Chanda Pictures. He quickly became popular because he played the first male supporting role in Autumn in My Heart, Han Taishi, and gained a large number of fans. Hu Yang was undoubtedly very lucky, and he was also very shrewd. After he became famous, he filed a lawsuit with his old employer and terminated his contract. He went to the powerful Juxing agency and received the latter's strong support. Strictly speaking, Hu Yang was indebted to Lu Chen. Without Lu Chen, Hu Yang wouldn't have been able to get Han Taishi, the heavyweight role that made him popular overnight. Moreover, during the filming of Autumn in My Heart, Lu Chen gave Hu Yang a lot of advice, and Hu Yang was also respectful to Lu Chen. He called him Brother Chen this and Brother Chen that all day long. People who didn't know better would think that the two had a deep friendship. But in the entertainment industry, where profits were paramount, any kindness could be discarded at will. Especially after Lu Chen rejected Hu Yang's participation in Full House of Romance. The latter basically fell out with Lu Chen. He never thought that the boss of Juxing agency Jin Hongwei, who he signed a contract with, had a grudge against Lu Chen. Unless Lu Chen was kicked in the head by a donkey, how could he still cooperate with Hu Yang? It was easy to be arrogant when one became famous at a young age. If Hu Yang was modest and cautious before he became famous, then Hu Yang showed his frivolous side after he grew up. He issued a challenge to Lu Chen, of course, because someone was plotting behind the scenes to create hype, but it was also because of his temperament. Hu Yang wanted to prove that he was fully qualified to play the lead role, and had the ability to get rid of Lu Chen's shadow. At the same time, it was to create hype for Sea of Love, which was about to be broadcast in the summer. In fact, this kind of marketing method of deliberately creating contradictions in story topics was very common in the entertainment industry. Whether or not it could be hyped up depended first on the strength of the person behind the scenes and the strength of the promotion, as well as whether the topic was enough to attract attention. Who was the person behind Hu Yang? The media was well aware that Shonan TV and Assembly of Stars agency were experienced in playing tricks. They were definitely the best in the country when it came to promoting celebrities and sensationalizing topics. There were many successful examples. Shonan TV and Lu Chen also had a grudge. Lu Chen had slapped Shonan TV's face more than once. How could Shonan TV's face be so easily slapped? Of course, they would not be so stupid as to personally go into battle. Hu Yang was undoubtedly a good knife. As long as Sea of Love beats Full House of Romance in the summer time slot, then Shonan TV will win in both content and face, which will be enough to give Lu Chen a heavy blow. As for Zhudong Satellite TV and Beijing Television, which stood behind Lu Chen, they were originally Shonan TV's opponents. The summer movie and TV market was a battlefield, and the winners were always in the minority. It was precisely because of the complicated entanglements of interests involved that the incident of Hu Yang challenging Lu Chen through Sea of Love was hyped up by the entertainment media, which could be regarded as a warm-up for the summer TV series in advance. In addition, other film and television production companies and TV stations, which were interested in getting a share of the summertime, also took the opportunity to fish in troubled waters, and all kinds of gossip news flew everywhere. On July 2nd, Lu Chen and Chen Fei returned to Beijing. As a result, the two were surrounded by entertainment reporters who got the news from somewhere at the exit of the high-speed railway station. Full House of Romance has not yet been completely finished, but the scenes of the two have basically been shot, and the post-production such as dubbing and music has begun. And this time, Lu Chen returned to Beijing mainly to participate in an important ceremony. Mr. Lu Chen, I'm a reporter from EasyNet Entertainment. Can I ask you a few questions? What's your comment on Hu Yang saying that he would defeat you? Hu Yang's agent revealed through the media yesterday that Hu Yang had been treated unfairly when filming Autumn in My Heart. Is that true? Mr. Lu Chen, what is your prediction of the ratings of Full House of Romance? Chen Fei or Miss Chanva? There were more than a dozen media reporters at the exit, including EasyNet Channel, Entertainment Weekly, Newtown newspaper and so on. With the addition of photos and videos, it was noisy and attracted a large number of onlookers. If it weren't for the assistant blocking them and the timely appearance of the security personnel to divert the crowd, it would have been difficult for the two of them to move. Chun Feier lowered her voice and said, "Don't pay attention to them." She was experienced and knew how difficult it was to deal with entertainment reporters. Moreover, it was easy to be misinterpreted when answering questions on such an occasion without any preparation. Wuxia nodded. "I know what I'm doing." He suddenly turned around and walked toward the place where the media reporters gathered. The entertainment reporters suddenly became excited. Under the obstruction of the security personnel, they desperately stretched out their microphones. "Luchan, may I ask?" Facing the microphones, Luchan said calmly, "Thank you for your hard work, but this is a crowded public place. It's not convenient for me to be interviewed by the media, so as not to cause any accidents. In addition, I welcome everyone to the press conference to be held at the Beijing Hotel at 7 o'clock this evening. If you have any questions, please ask them then. Thank you." At 7 o'clock that evening, representatives of the South Korean Embassy in China and the South Korean Jeju City government would hold a press conference in the conference hall of the Beijing Hotel to officially confer the title of Jeju Island Tourism Ambassador on Luchan and Chen Fei. As for whether the media in front of him were invited or not, whether they could get a seat in the conference hall, Luchan certainly didn't care. He just didn't want to give these reporters a chance to make a fuss. After saying that, Luchan quickly returned to Chun Feier's side. The two of them quickly left the exit under the escort of the assistant and security personnel. They boarded the nanny van that had been waiting outside and left. "You really don't know a person's face. I didn't expect that Hu Yang to be such a person." Sitting in the passenger seat, Li Feiyu said indignantly, "I used to think he was a good person. I was really blind." Li Feiyu knew Hu Yang. When they were filming Autumn in My Heart, the latter even treated Li Feiyu to a meal and was quite polite to Li Feiyu. Li Feiyu also said good things about Hu Yang, so he had a good impression of him. Now there was only downright disgust. Hu Yang obviously wanted to step on Luchan to continue to rise. Luchan smiled indifferently and said, "It's just my ass deciding my head. There's no need to be angry." My ass deciding my head? This term was very new. Li Feiyu did not understand it, and Chun Feier and Xian, who was driving, were also curious. Luchan explained, "A person's position determines their attitude. Hu Yang is signed by Juxing Agency, and he is filming a new drama from Shonan TV. He is our enemy, so it's normal for him to say something like this. Arguing with him will give him a chance to hype up, so there's no need." Chun Feier chuckled and said, "This sentence is really interesting and reasonable, but it's not big. That's right, we really don't need to accompany them to hype up. It's beneath our dignity." If Hu Yang heard Chun Feier's last sentence, he would probably be half dead with anger. But Chun Feier was fully qualified to say that. Luchan finally said, "Everything depends on the results. Strength is not hyped up, and the ratings of TV series can't be falsified. If 10,000 words of saliva can't increase the ratings by 0.1%, it will be in vain. Results determine everything. Of course, there are many blind fans, but the fans with bright eyes are by no means a minority." Luchan has confidence in Full House of Romance, so whether it's Hu Yang or the Juxing Agency and Shonan TV he represents, Luchan is not afraid. Perhaps half a year ago, Juxing Agency and Shonan TV had the strength to crush Luchan, but Luchan is by no means alone in the circle. Behind him stands Beijing Television, Zhidong Satellite TV, Crown Pictures, Flying Stone Records, SPG, and other industry tycoons. In terms of lineup and power, they are strong and not weak. Most importantly, Luchan believes in his own work and believes that Full House of Romance, which he has carefully created, can create another miracle of ratings. Therefore, Hu Yang's various gestures and remarks are ridiculous in Luchan's eyes. They can lift you up, but they can also suppress you. If Shonan TV is smart enough not to confront Full House of Romance head-on, they may be able to make a difference. But the possibility of that is very small. Then bring it on. Chapter 391. Beijing Hotel is not the largest and most luxurious hotel in the capital area, but it is undoubtedly the most famous. Beijing Hotel is one of the first foreign-related hotels in China. As early as the 1950s, It was an important place to receive foreign guests and hold international conferences, and it still plays a great role in related affairs. It is precisely because of its special status in the industry that money is not enough to hold meetings or banquets in Beijing Hotel. First, one must have sufficient qualifications. The ceremony and media press conference to award Luchan and Chen Fei the South Korean Jeju Island tourism ambassadors was held in the No. 3 conference hall of Beijing Hotel. In addition to the 2 studios that hosted the ceremony, they also received strong support from Beijing Television and SPG. Those who came to the scene to attend the ceremony included a cultural counselor from the South Korean Embassy in China, cultural officials from the Beijing municipal government, representatives from Jeju City, and so on. The standard was quite high. In addition, more than 100 media outlets, as well as friends of Luchan and Chen Fei in the circle were invited, participating in the grand event together. At 6:20 p.m., Luchan and Chen Fei arrived at the ceremony. Tonight, Luchan wore a black Armani suit with a white shirt, looking very handsome, while Chen Fei was dressed up. A gorgeous evening dress perfectly showed off her figure, and she became the target of many media reporters present. Tan Hong, Liao Jia, Lin Shengjie, Qin Hanyang, the Bionics, MSN, Little Tigers. Even Tian took time out of her busy schedule to come to Beijing to support the two. Tonight's Beijing hotel can be described as star-studded. Although there was no red carpet ceremony, it made the media reporters on the scene feel that the trip was worthwhile, and they had enough material to take back. The awarding ceremony began at 7 o'clock sharp. First, the cultural counselor of the South Korean Embassy in China spoke. In his speech, he praised Luchan and Chen Fei for their contribution to the cultural exchange between China and South Korea, and welcomed more Chinese friends to travel and shop in South Korea. Then officials from the Beijing municipal government came on stage to speak. Finally, the representative of Jeju City, Korea awarded the two with the honorary title of Jeju Island Tourism Ambassadors. When Luchan and Chen Fei respectively received the certificate and the golden key from the Korean official representative, the audience burst into thunderous applause, setting off a wave of celebration. Although there wasn't much pay to be a tourism ambassador, it was a commendable honor for any artist, especially when the two of them were foreign tourism ambassadors. This was unprecedented in the domestic entertainment industry, and it was the same in Korea. It was definitely an honor. If it weren't for the miraculous ratings of Autumn in My Heart in South Korea, which gave them a large number of fans in South Korea, this honor wouldn't have fallen on their heads. This represented official recognition. South Korea used this opportunity to promote tourism and attract tourists from the mainland, while Luchan and Chen Fei used this opportunity to better expand the South Korean market, using South Korea as a springboard to radiate influence to the Southeast Asian countries. It could be said to be a win-win cooperation. After the simple but grand ceremony, the cultural counselor of the Korean Embassy in China and the Beijing municipal government left first, and the press conference continued in the conference hall. When Luchan faced the reporters at the high-speed rail station during the day, it wasn't without reason that he asked them to come here to ask questions. First of all, he eliminated the small media reporters who liked to make trouble out of nothing, because these people couldn't even enter the Beijing hotel. Second, because of the standard of the press conference and the presence of many official media, it was enough to shut the mouths of those with ulterior motives, or at least not dare to ask some controversial questions. This way Luchan could deal with it much more easily. The first to ask questions were naturally the official media reporters, and the questions were basically related to the tourism ambassadors. Some questions were asked of Luchan and Chen Fei, and some were asked of the Korean representative. It was very official. After the two sides talked for more than 10 minutes, finally, a reporter couldn't help but stand up and ask, "Mr. Luchan, I'm a reporter from EasyNet Entertainment. First of all, congratulations on winning the honor of tourism ambassadors. May I ask if your new drama full of romance will also be broadcast in South Korea?" This question was obviously just a prelude. Luchan nodded and replied, "Yes, and it will premiere at the same time as in China, so that the Korean audience can see our new work as soon as possible." The reporter immediately asked, "It is said that your new drama will be broadcast this month, and according to my understanding, there are more than 10 TV series of the same genre premiering this month, including Shonan TV Sea of Love. So, in such a fierce competition, what is your goal for the ratings of your work?" This reporter's question was probably what many of his colleagues wanted to ask. Although he didn't directly mention Hu Yang's name, the latter had threatened to beat Lu Chen in the ratings a few days ago. In the face of Hu Yang's challenge, what would Lu Chen's attitude be? This was the question that everyone was most concerned about. And Lu Chen was already prepared for such a question. He answered calmly, "Average of 3 to exceed 4. What? The reporter was confused. Can you explain? Lu Chen smiled and said, I said that my goal for the ratings of Full of Romance is to average 3 to exceed 4%, with an average of 3% and a maximum of 4%. Is that clear enough? An average of 3% and a maximum of 4%. There was a sudden exclamation in the conference hall. Many people couldn't believe their ears. As entertainment media reporters who attended this press conference, they had a basic and even in-depth understanding of the ratings of domestic TV series. At present, it was considered a success if the average ratings of domestic TV series could reach 1%. The highest rating of Autumn in My Heart, filmed by Lu Chen last year, exceeded 3%, which was a phenomenal record-breaking result. Now that he had said that the average ratings would exceed 3%, it was not as simple as an increase of 1%. It was not like 20 or 30 years ago. At that time, entertainment was relatively scarce. Watching TV had become the most common way for ordinary people to relax. It was easy for a classic TV series to reach tens of percent, and there were even scenes of tens of thousands of people coming out to watch TV. Nowadays, entertainment had become extremely popular. There were as many TV stations as there were hairs on an ox. New media had seized resources. Most domestic TV series ratings were within 1%. Although Lu Chen had the success of Autumn in My Heart, his target for the new TV series was 4%. That was really shocking. Wasn't he afraid that the wind would cut his tongue? In such a formal occasion and with such a formal expression, even if Lu Chen wanted to deny it, he couldn't do it. Once he didn't achieve the target result, then his face would be greatly shaved, even if he didn't lose all his face. If this was Lu Chen's counterattack against Hu Yang and Shonan TV, then his counterattack was too ruthless. He was ruthless to his opponent and even more ruthless to himself. Many reporters were excited. They could smell the thick smell of gunpowder. Chapter 392. Lu Chen says that the ratings of Full House of Romance will break 4%. What gives Lu Chen so much confidence? Let's wait and see. The summer TV series has not yet been broadcast. Sea of Love vs Full House of Romance. Who will laugh in the end? 4%. Lu Chen's new drama points to a new record. That night, many big and small media couldn't wait to publish what Lu Chen said at the press conference on their websites, and the hype was in full swing. In contrast, the news that he and Chanfei won the South Korea Jeju Island Tourism Ambassadors was put in the corner, and the attention was far less than that of Sea of Romance. And Sea of Romance, a new term created by Lu Chen, also quickly appeared on the hot search list of blogs. Lu Chen's fans were naturally encouraged by his bold words and applauded one after another, but many people in the industry held the opposite attitude, thinking that Lu Chen was too confident and would suffer sooner or later. At present, the domestic TV series and variety show market has long been a Red Sea, and the competition is so fierce that outsiders can't imagine it. Especially in the summer slot, it is the time for major satellite TV stations to show their magical powers. In the summer slot, newly shot TV series are often broadcast together. Without a strong star lineup and intensive publicity and promotion, it is undoubtedly extremely difficult to get out of this bottomless Red Sea. Although Lu Chen has the support of Beijing Television, Zhidong Satellite TV, and other industry tycoons, he also has Autumn in My Heart as the foundation. He is too proud to want to break the average ratings of 3%, because his competitor is Shonan TV, known as the king of the summer slot. Shonan TV has always been the overlord of local satellite TV stations in China. Its self-made dramas and variety shows disdain its peers, and it can play a lot of cards in the summer slot. Shonan TV has made it clear that it wants to use the all-star production of Sea of Love to compete with Full of Romance. If Lu Chen's TV series can maintain an average viewership rating of 2%, it will be a victory. It is really exaggerated to say that 3% exceeds 4%. On the Waves blog, some people mocked Lu Chen for getting carried away, asserting that he would be slapped in the face. Another person at Huyang and asked him what he thought about it. Huyang immediately said on his blog that everyone should wait and see. He has confidence in the decision of Sea of Love. His blog post immediately received a large number of reposts, likes and comments, and the official V and main actors of Sea of Love gave encouragement and support. A huge momentum was quickly created, giving people the feeling that Luchan was overestimating his capabilities and talking big. And in the ratings war that has not yet begun, Boundless Sea of Love is bound to win. Although Luchan's fans celebrated Luchan and Chen Feier's awards on the blog, they also launched an unyielding struggle against this kind of belittling remarks about Luchan, making tonight's Waves blog once again become a battlefield of fierce debate. But compared with the piles of water armies and network pushers, their voices are obviously not loud enough, and they have always been firmly suppressed. Shonen TV. Luchan sat in front of the computer, browsing the smoke-filled Waves blog, and couldn't help shaking his head. No matter how Huyang jumps up and down, Luchan will not pay attention to him. The real trouble is Shonen TV. It is undeniable that Shonen TV has great energy and publicity, especially in the creation of public opinion in new media. This time they went all out to promote Sea of Love, and the influence caused by it is undoubtedly very strong. In contrast, whether it is Zhejiang Satellite TV or Beijing Television, they are weaker than Shonen TV in terms of online publicity. The number of fans of the first two official V-blogs is only 1/10 of that of Shonen TV. Although it is easy to falsify the number of fans on a blog, the gap between the two sides can be seen. And this kind of publicity offensive is bound to have an impact on the ratings of the two TV series, and the effect cannot be underestimated. Do you know how powerful they are? Chen Feier hugged Luchan from behind, and her soft and towering chest pressed intimately against his back. She said with a smile, "A senior told me before that I can't be a friend of Shonen TV, nor should I be their enemy." Luchan touched his chin thoughtfully. "It sounds very powerful. After this summer vacation I hope to change it to, I can't be a friend of Luchan, nor should I be his enemy." Ha ha ha. Chen Feier was tickled by Luchan's domineering declaration. She couldn't help but come over and kiss him on the face and said, "I like your confident look." She first had a good impression of Luchan in the competition of Singing China. At that time, although Luchan was still an unknown newcomer, he had a maturity and confidence that was different from others on the stage. Chen Fei has never seen this kind of maturity and confidence in many singers who have been in the industry for many years. Secondly, there is Luchan's talent. Chen Feier was thinking when Luchan suddenly turned around and hugged her in his arms and gave her a deep French kiss. Chen Feier responded enthusiastically. After kissing the beauty until her pretty face turned red, Luchan reluctantly let her go and said, "We also have to make some efforts in publicity. We can't let them always have the upper hand." Chen Feier sat on his lap and asked curiously, "What are you going to do?" In fact, whether it is Beijing Television, Zhejiang Satellite TV or her and Luchan's studio, they have already launched the publicity work for Full of Romance, but the intensity is far less than that of their opponents. Luchan said with a smile, "Let's release a flash bomb first." At 11:15 that evening, Chen Feier's blog suddenly released a new blog post. In this blog post titled, "Only for You," she wrote, "In the dead of the night, I'm giving everyone a new song that I played and sang by myself. It's an interlude from Full House of Romance. Those who like it, please like it. ******, followed by a video recorded by a mobile phone. In the video, Luchan, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, was sitting in front of a small bar, holding a guitar in his arms. When the camera turned and fixed, Luchan said with a smile, "The name of this song is Only for You. Only for you, I'd like to become a shadow and follow you. Oh, only for you my heart has become a castle. It belongs to you all my life. Oh, only for you you said I was too childish, you don't know how to take care of a delicate heart. In fact, I've always been very attentive, it's just that I didn't explain the blueprint for the future is in my heart." Luchan wrote a total of 1 theme song and 2 interludes for Full House of Romanticism. This song Only for You is one of the interludes. Originally, it was not intended to be released in the early publicity, but in the face of the aggressive attack of the opponent, he really had to come up with something real. What was the strongest thing about Luchan? It was his talent in music. His excellent and even classic original works were the foundation of his foothold in the entertainment industry. He was completely different from Hu Yang's generation. The number of his fans was also big than the number of fans of the drama. Many people did not like the TV series made by Luchan, but his new songs would not be missed. And a popular song had a positive effect on the TV series or the movie. Only for You was a very straightforward love song. The melody was bright and catchy. It did not have the sadness and melancholy of most love songs. It was absolutely refreshing to listen to. You often say I'm too practical. I don't know how to express the romantic feelings in my heart. In fact, I've been very careful preparing for loving you until everything was ready. Oh, Only for You. Lu Chen's interpretation of this song was affectionate and passionate. While playing and singing, he stared at the camera, staring at Chen Feier, who was holding the phone. The sunny smile on his face and the gentleness in his dark eyes instantly moved all the people who watched the video, especially those sensitive female fans. So even though it was almost midnight, Chen Feier's blog post still received tens of thousands of shares, and the number of likes was rising. Countless fans left comments in the comments section. A gentle flash bomb was released just like that. There was no water army, no promoter and no cost. But the effect was not something that could be achieved by spending hundreds of thousands or even millions of marketing expenses. Note: Only for You lyricist. Yao Qian/composer. Harlem U. Chapter 393. Chen Feier has been famous for many years and has more than 20 million fans on Wave's blog. Fans who are familiar with her know that the heavenly queen of the music industry never quarreled with others on the internet. The content of her blog is basically daily photos, sharing experiences, reflections on life, etc. She is completely a quiet little girl, completely different from those star artists in the entertainment industry who can make waves when they have nothing to do. For example, this blog post. Everyone knew that she was definitely promoting Full House of Romance, but this kind of promotion method was not the disgusting yelling type of forceful brainwashing. It was very quiet and nourishing. A few simple sentences, an amazing video, and a touching love song. If this is a hype, fans say let the hype be more intense. I like Lu Chan so much, I like his songs. If someone can sing a love song like this to me, then I will definitely marry him. My Faye is so happy, bless. Don't say anything else. I'm going to follow Full House of Romance! Looking forward to the new works of the two. 99% of the comments of the blog netizens are positive. Although there is no lack of complaints of blinding and being showered with love again, they are all good-natured teasing. And the song Only for You, like many of Lu Chen's works, has been liked by fans. There was no need for the support group to encourage them at all. Everyone took the initiative to like and forward it, which made more and more people interested in Full House of Romance. By the next day, July 3rd, Chen Feier's blog post had been forwarded more than 500,000 times, with more than 1 million likes and hundreds of thousands of comments, which steadily made it to the blog headlines. Compared with the marketing of the new drama vigorously promoted by Shonan TV, the effect of her blog post was enough to rival the hype of her opponents' piles of water armies and pushers, or even better. On the same day, the official V of Beijing Television, Zhidong Satellite TV and Crown Pictures, as well as Luchan Studio and Chen Feier Studio, announced at the same time that the new drama Full House of Romance will premiere on the two major satellite TV stations during prime time on the 22nd of this month. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 2 episodes will be aired each day, for a total of 25 episodes. This kind of broadcast frequency was quite intensive, which was undoubtedly beneficial to the increase of viewership. The summer break would be finished in 4 weeks, and it would be rebroadcast in early September. After the broadcast date of Full of Romance was officially announced, Shonan TV teamed up with a number of media companies, film and television entertainment companies, and celebrity studios to announce that Shonan TV's annual urban romance drama, Sea of Love, would premiere on July 15th. It would also air 3 days a week with 2 episodes a day. Just as everyone expected, the two families directly collided. Not only did Shonan TV have no intention of backing down, but it also made it clear that it wanted to compete for the same time slot. In fact, such a situation was very rare. Usually, television stations would deliberately avoid direct competition and stagger the broadcast of variety shows or big-budget TV series to ensure the ratings. But in the 2-month summer break, this kind of head-on competition was not surprising. However, Shonan TV's tit-for-tat was too strong, and it made people feel the aggressiveness of this local satellite TV station. Sea of Love finished filming earlier than Full of Romance, and the premiere date was announced later than the latter. Moreover, it was scheduled to premiere after Full of Romance, but it was scheduled to premiere a week earlier than Full of Romance. In addition to Sea of Love, several other TV series of the same genre also announced their premiere dates. They were very wise to not broadcast during prime time on weekends, but on weeknights. Everyone showed off their skills, and the publicity offensive suddenly became fierce. Under such circumstances, of course, Lu Chun could not idle around in Beijing. He and Chun Feier, along with the main members of the Full of Romance crew, launched a 2-week nationwide publicity tour. Their first stop was Haijin. On the same night in Haijin, Lu Chun found time in the hotel to log into Waves to read. His book, The Smiling Proud Wanderer, was uploaded on the evening of May 27th. It had been more than a month since it was uploaded. It was updated regularly at 6,000 words a day, and the number of updates exceeded 200,000. Compared to the bleak situation when the book was first published, the numbers now were obviously much better. Hits: 57,560 votes. Recommendations: 10,260 votes. Favorites: 2,687 votes. 4,580 comments. For a newcomer's new book, this result was very good in the absence of any recommendations. Moreover, the activity of the readers in the book review section was quite high. Even without the participation of the author, the discussion was still in full swing. Of course, compared to the popular works at the top of the list of Waves, this result was not worth mentioning. But in the comments of the readers, Lu Chun saw that they liked this theme, and many of the book reviews were quite interesting. At least they had such thoughts after reading it carefully. This made Lu Chun feel a sense of satisfaction. He serialized The Smiling Proud Wanderer on Waves, which was actually equivalent to farming the experimental field. He quietly sowed the seeds to see what kind of harvest he would get in the end. So far it seemed that at least he would not get nothing. The total amount of tips from the readers had already exceeded 50,000 reading coins. Of course, this amount of money was nothing. It also represented the wishes of the readers, right? When Lu Chun logged into his author's platform, he received a text message from the website. He opened it and saw that it was a message from the website's editor to sign a contract with him. The editor's QQ number was included. The message was sent 2 days ago, but these few days Lu Chun had not logged into Waves to read. The chapters were automatically updated by his previous drafts. He only found out today when he logged in and added his drafts. It was probably because the data was good that the editor gave him the opportunity to sign a contract. Out of curiosity, Lu Chun opened his sock puppet QQ, added the editor's number, and noted the name of the work. What Lu Chun did not expect was that the editor with the nickname Anshin quickly accepted his friend request. Anshin, hello, are you the author of The Smiling Proud Wanderer? Ijingu? Lu Chun, yes, editor Anshin. Hello, do you work at night as well? Anshin: I am on duty at night. May I ask if the copyright of The Smiling Proud Wanderer is in your hands? Lu Chun: yes, it is in my hands. Anshin: that's good. The results of The Smiling Proud Wanderer are good. So we want to sign a contract with you. Take a look at this contract and let me know if you have any comments. She sent a contract document to Lu Chun. For Lu Chun, signing a contract for a serialized novel was something new. He immediately opened the document. He wanted to see what kind of contract it was. Chapter 394. The contract for Waves books had a total of 10 pages. It involved a lot of specific terms and was very detailed. It basically covered all the copyrights of an IP. At the same time, it stipulated the rights and obligations of both parties. It was impeccable in terms of the law. Lu Chun mainly looked at the terms of the copyrights. Generally speaking, the rights and benefits of the contract were 50/50ths. The website and the author each had 50/50, such as subscriptions, tips, and derivative copyrights. If Lu Chun signs this contract, then in addition to publishing, 50% of the film and television, games, animation and other copyright income of The Smiling Proud Wanderer will go to Inspur Books. Luqian was not surprised by the terms of the contract. He had now tested the waters in the online literature circle. He had a little understanding of the situation in the online literature circle. He knew that most of the websites were similar in terms of contracts, and there was no essential difference. Only the top authors had the right to negotiate contracts with the websites. In fact, it was similar to the entertainment industry. Artists who signed with entertainment agencies would get much harsher contracts at the beginning. That was normal. Capital always had to be profitable. There was no free lunch in the world. The website provided the resources, so they naturally had to seek profits. Otherwise, how could they face the investors? But understanding was one thing. Luqian would not sign the contract. He regarded The Smiling, The Proud Wanderer and the subsequent Wuxia novels as big IP. He would not give up such a big profit just to gain a foothold in the online literature circle. So, Luqian only looked at the contract for something new. Editor, and I have read the contract. It is very different from what I expected. I am not going to sign the contract. Thank you. His answer was obviously out of the other party's expectation. Can you be more specific? Luqian. I will not give up the copyrights of movies, games, etc. So, I am sorry. Anshin, that's a pity. I have read The Smiling, The Proud Wanderer. It is really well written. It has a certain number of readers now, but only after signing the contract can it be recommended by the website. In fact, the copyrights of movies and TV series will only be valuable after the book becomes popular. Do you understand what I am saying? Luqian. Yes, I understand. But I am still sorry. The Wave's editor was silent for a few minutes. Then he said, well, if you change your mind, you can contact me at any time. Luqian felt that this editor was quite good. After being rejected, he didn't get angry and seemed to be very gentlemanly. However, the attitude of the website she represented was very firm. There was no room for negotiation in the contract. Yi Jinggu was an unknown author, and there were tens of thousands of similar authors. As one of the top online literature websites in the country, it would be strange if Waves Books was willing to change the contract for him. Of course, if Luqian revealed his real body, then any conditions would probably be easy to negotiate. He asked, if I don't sign the contract, will the book continue to be updated? Anshin, no problem. Bye. After the conversation with the Waves book editor, Luqian couldn't help but laugh. Thinking back, he was still a little naive at the beginning. In fact, this result should have been expected, but it didn't matter much. It was just an experience to satisfy his curiosity, and it didn't affect his big IP plan. Luqian uploaded all the manuscripts he had saved in the past few days into the draft box and set it to be automatically updated. Since he had chosen the publishing platform of Waves Books, it wouldn't be too late to continue publishing. It wouldn't be too late to promote it after accumulating enough words. At least, it would be worthy of the 2,687 readers who had collected The Smiling Proud Wanderer. Also, there was the reward for their support. On July 5th, Luqian and Chanfei left Haijin with the crew of Full House of Romance and went to Hangzhou. Hangzhou was the second stop for the promotion of the new series. In the next half a month, they would travel across more than half of China, trying their best to push the urban romantic comedy to the vast market. On July 15th, the summer drama Love of Shonan TV premiered at prime time in the evening. On July 16th, Luqian finished the promotion and returned to Beijing. The ratings of Love are out. In the studio, Luqi put a thin piece of printing paper in front of Luqian, who had just returned. She looked a little serious. Luqian smiled and said, "Isn't it very good?" Luqi said angrily, "Look at it yourself. Now you are under pressure, right?" Her sister was angry that Luqian didn't discuss it with her before. In front of the reporters, he said that the ratings of Full House of Romance would reach the highest 4%, which put the studio more or less in a passive situation. Luqian said too much, which put a lot of pressure on the studio. And Luqi also felt that the goal of 4% was too high. It was to break a new record. Now that the most powerful opponent was one step ahead of them, her sister couldn't help but worry about how to end the problem in the future. She wanted to knock on Luqian's head with her mobile phone and ask him if he was getting carried away. Now that the ratings of the premiere of Love came out, He still didn't care and laughed carelessly, which really made Lucy angry. Lu Chan made a gesture of surrender, and then picked up the printing paper. The first episode of Love had a rating of 1.35%, the second episode 1.43%, and the average rating of the two episodes was 1.39%. Such ratings were quite dazzling and beyond Lu Chen's expectations. No wonder Lu Xi had such an expression. If a TV series' premiere ratings broke 1%, it was basically a prelude to a hit. In fact, there were a large number of TV series produced in China every year. Most of them could be on the screen, and the ratings were generally between 0.1% and 1%. Breaking 1% was already very successful. With an average rating of 1.39% for the two episodes, Love could be said to be the first to open the door and become popular. It should be known that the ratings of the first and second episodes of Autumn in My Heart last year were only 0.22% and 0.26%. Although Shonan TV's early publicity was very big, and the TV series also gathered a large number of stars, it was inevitable that there would be high ratings, but it was not expected to be so high. Lu Chan did not doubt the authenticity of the ratings of Love, because the investigation of the ratings of domestic TV programs was independently completed by New Video Company, a subsidiary of the State Administration of Radio, Film and Television. It belonged to a state-owned third-party authority, and its authenticity was beyond doubt. Now the pressure on the premiere of Full House of Romance is great, because on the 22nd, Love will also continue to broadcast the third and fourth episodes, competing head-on with Full House of Romance in the ratings. The only advantage of Full House of Romance was that it was premiered by Beijing Television and Zhejiang Satellite TV at the same time, which could improve the overall ratings to a certain extent. However, in the face of aggressive opponents, it still gave people a sense of suspense. Lu Xi frowned and said, "We still have a week left. Discuss with several other companies and increase the investment in publicity. We have to suppress their momentum." If compared with the early publicity, Full House of Romance is worse than Love. Now it can be considered as mending the pen after the sheep is lost. Lu Chen thought about it, shook his head decisively and said, "No, we just need to keep the current pace." He and Chen Feier and the crew of Full House of Romance have traveled to 7 major cities in China for publicity in the past half a month, and have invested a lot of advertising in both traditional and new media. The budget is almost over. The early publicity has been very sufficient. If they want to achieve better results, the investment has to be at least doubled. That would not be worth the loss. Moreover, TV series are different from movies. TV series have a long serialization time, and the importance of audience reputation exceeds publicity. Lu Chen believes in the quality of Full House of Romance, so why fight with Shonan TV in publicity? The one who can laugh at the end is the winner. However, the idea of Shonan TV is obviously completely different from that of Lu Chan. After the first 2 episodes of Love got high ratings, they immediately launched a new publicity offensive. Hu Yang, the star of Love, immediately updated his blog with the title 1.39% and released a photo of him opening champagne in a hotel to celebrate with friends. At the same time, Hu Yang frequently interacted with the other actors of the show, and his pride was overflowing. In contrast, Lu Chen's blog fell into a brief silence. This inevitably gives people an illusion that the battle between Full House of Romance and Love, Lu Chan and Shonan TV and Hu Yang, has been decided. Chapter 395. Sea of Love has a strong cast, and Lu Dawei, who directs the show, is a first-class director in China. The first 2 episodes of the premiere on the 15th did not disappoint. The plot was novel and original, the characters were bright and eye-catching, the details were accurate, and the camera was full of sense. It was definitely a rare good play. The average rating of 1.39% for the premiere strongly proved its charm. The author boldly predicted that Sea of Love will become the overlord of domestic summer TV series. The above comments came from a drama critic's blog. The small V drama critic with hundreds of thousands of fans was not stingy with his praise. He praised Sea of Love to the sky. And he is not only the only drama critic who advocates for the boundless sea of love on his blog. Almost similar drama reviews appeared in Inspirblog after the premiere ratings of The Boundless Sea of Love came out, but were quickly forwarded to major forums and post bars. Compared with film critics and sound critics, drama critics are undoubtedly a more niche existence. The original drama critics mainly reviewed literary dramas, and later referred to professional TV critics. It was also different from film critics and music critics. The internet was basically the only platform for drama critics. Most of the drama critics were part-time industry insiders. Some of them used their real names, while others used their sock puppets. They had a certain amount of influence in the field of online TV series reviews. But it is basically a fool's dream to expect drama critics to review a TV series with a fair and just attitude. Putting aside the skin of professionals, they are no different from those online pushers who speak for money. Drama critics with a conscience were as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. However, the audience is not a fool. Whether it is good or bad, they will naturally judge it with their own eyes. In the relatively free world of the internet, there is also their voice. And the voice of the audience is the most real. Sea of Love is okay. But the front plot is too similar to Autumn in My Heart, isn't it? Hu Yang is very handsome, but isn't he trying too hard to play Qin Huai? I feel that Hu Yang is still Han Taishi in Autumn in My Heart, and his acting skills have not improved. The cast is really strong, but can the story be a little new? I feel good. On the internet, the audience has a lot of positive comments on Sea of Love, but there are also a lot of dissatisfaction. The main opinions are focused on the plot and the hero. First of all, the opening plot of Sea of Love is at least 70% similar to that of Autumn in My Heart. The same heroine is mistakenly replaced, and a series of storylines are derived. To put it bluntly, this was a counterfeit. However, this is precisely what Xiangnan Satellite TV is good at. Their self-made dramas are best at applying the plot. American dramas, Korean dramas, Japanese dramas, whatever is popular, they will apply it and change it into their own things. What made people speechless was that Shonan TV's self-produced dramas were often very popular in the country, with the usual all-star lineup, excellent production, and brilliant marketing and publicity methods. And it was precisely because of their success that it attracted the industry to imitate them, and the phenomenon of people following them became increasingly serious. Shonan TV saw the great success of Autumn in My Heart, and resolutely launched a new drama that followed the trend, and even pulled in the actors of the original drama. The purpose was to attract thousands of fans of Autumn in My Heart. As for the hero Hu Yang, who has been very active on the blog recently, many viewers said that he was very handsome, but his acting skills and appearance did not match, and he did not get rid of the role of Han Taishi that made him famous. But most of the negative comments, whether it was posted on the official V of Shonan TV or the official V of Sea of Love, or the comment area of Hu Yang's blog, were basically deleted. Most of the comments that could be left were good comments. Time passed quickly, and a week passed in a blink of an eye. Lu Chen's new drama, Full House of Romance, finally ushered in the premiere day, which was broadcast at 8:30 p.m. on Beijing television, Zhidong Satellite TV and South Korea's KGS TV at the same time. No matter how popular Sea of Love was, it could not cover up the honor of Full House of Romance. That is, Full House of Romance was the first TV series produced in China to premiere abroad simultaneously. This has also become one of the focuses of the publicity of Full House of Romance. But no matter how good the publicity is, it still depends on the results. If the ratings of Full House of Romance encounter a Waterloo, then this honor will become a joke. And many fans of Lu Chun and Chun Fei are also looking forward to the broadcast of Full House of Romance. They have long locked the TV channel on Beijing television or Zhidong Satellite TV. Get ready, everyone. It will start in 10 minutes. Sitting in front of the computer, Meng Meng quickly typed a line of words and posted it in the QQ group she set up. Meng Meng's QQ group is called Morning Fan Club, with nearly 1,000 members, all of whom are fans of Lu Chun, and they are all real fans. Meng Meng is very famous in Lu Chen's fan circle. She suffered from leukemia and received generous donations from Lu Chun. Later, Lu Chun also established a charity foundation for leukemia. The story between Meng Meng and Lu Chun has been featured in major media. A few months ago, Meng Meng successfully completed a bone marrow transplant and recovered very well after the operation. Meng Meng, who was reborn, was extremely grateful to Lu Chun and naturally became Lu Chen's hardcore fan. While recuperating at home, she set up this QQ group to support Lu Chun. Whenever any news related to Luchan comes out, Meng Meng will send it to the group as soon as possible. This time, Luchan's new drama, Full House of Romance, is about to premiere. Meng Meng not only wants to watch it herself, but also encourages her relatives, friends, and classmates to watch it together. As for the morning fan club, there is no need to mention it. Everyone is waiting. I know, little Meng Meng. I'm sitting in front of the TV, and I'm still playing commercials. Invincible Chun, Full House of Romance will definitely beat Vast Sea of Love. Needless to say, Hu Yang is really disgusting, and I used to be a fan of him. Don't mention that disgusting guy. Let's support Luchan together. Support. The group members responded like a tide, and messages flashed quickly in the window, making it very lively. Because the premiere of Full House of Romance does not include online broadcast, it can only be watched on TV. Many fans said that this is the first time they have watched TV in several years. It's to support Luchan. Looking at the message on the computer screen, Meng Meng couldn't help clenching her fists. Luchan, come on. Chapter 396. It's raining. Bean-sized raindrops hit the glass window under the effect of the strong wind, and the dense patter made Luchan wake up from his deep sleep. He opened his eyes and took a deep breath, feeling the warm and fragrant jade in his arms, and couldn't help but be tempted. Last night they were entangled several times, but he still wanted more. Chanfer, who was still sleeping sweetly, groaned unconsciously, frowned and groaned with dissatisfaction. Luchan smiled, lowered his head and bit her jade-like earlobe gently, and finally made the sleeping beauty wake up. She slapped Luchan's hand that was touching her body. You're so annoying. Luchan hugged her tightly and said with a smile, Go to sleep. But Chanfer was already fully awake and said coquettishly, I'm not a pig. Can I fall asleep just because I want to? What time is it? Luchan had to let her go. Turned sideways and picked up the mobile phone in front of the bed. He opened it and took a look. 10:30. Chanfer was shocked and immediately sat up from the bed, ignoring the thin quilt slipping down and exposing her body. It's so late. Get up quickly. Luchan said lazily. It's rare to have a day off. Sleep with me a little longer. During this period of time, his daily work schedule has been full, and there were few opportunities to meet with Chanfer. Today, he finally had time to sleep in as a reward for himself. The way of life lies in tension and relaxation. If the string is too tight, it will break. You're the pig. Chanfer didn't agree. She grabbed the clothes that were scattered on the bedside and put them on. The ratings of the premiere of Full of Romance have come out. You can still continue to sleep. Hurry up and watch it. Chanfer is really concerned about Luchan and her second TV series. Last night, Beijing Television and Zhejiang Satellite TV premiered at the same time, and she went home early to watch it. This heavenly queen was also suppressing a wave of energy in her heart, an energy that refused to admit defeat. Luchan said helplessly, What's the difference between seeing it sooner or later? Even if I watched it earlier, the ratings wouldn't have increased. Chanfer pinched him fiercely. Get up. The lion's roar from Hudong was very powerful. Luchan had no choice but to get up and wash up. Then he ran to the study and turned on the computer. How is it? Chanfer asked loudly while frying eggs in the kitchen for breakfast. Luchan logged into New Vision's website and quickly found a familiar name on the homepage. In the first and second episodes of Full of Romance, Zhejiang Satellite TV's ratings were 0, 67% and 0, 71% respectively, while Beijing Television's ratings were 0, 43% and 0, 45%, with a comprehensive average rating of 1, 13% and a peak rating of 1, 16%. Ranked third. And the first place in the domestic TV ratings was Shonan TV's Sea of Love. The third and fourth episodes of the TV series reached 1, 46% and 1, 50% respectively, with an average of 1, 48%. It was broadcast at the same time on the same day. In a head-to-head contest, Sea of Love surpassed Full of Romance by 0, 32%. This gap was not small, because many TV series' highest ratings may not reach 0, 3%. Chanfer, who brought up the breakfast, was very disappointed. How could this be? Luchan took the plate and put it aside first. He held her in his arms and sat her on his lap. He said with a smile, "It's just beginning. I'll call to ask how the ratings in South Korea are." Full of Romance premiered in China and South Korea at the same time, which was the first time in a domestic TV series. While Lu Chan was on the phone, Chun Fair tapped on the keyboard and opened the Light and Shadow Network. The Light and Shadow Network was a very famous community website in China. It mainly recommended and reviewed movies, TV shows, and books. The ratings of the Light and Shadow Network reflected the audience's evaluation of movies and TV shows to a large extent. This part of the audience was mainly artistic and petty bourgeois netizens, so their ratings had nothing to do with the movie box office and TV show ratings. It only represented a kind of comment direction. Chun Fair was also a registered member of the Light and Shadow Network. Of course, she used a sock puppet ID. In the Light and Shadow Network, she found the rating column of Full of Romance without a hitch. So far, a total of 1,278 members had rated Full of Romance, with an average score of 8.7. The full score was 10. This score was beyond Chun Fair's expectations. Although the Light and Shadow Network was a niche website, its rating system was very strict. Even registered members had to have enough qualifications and points to rate movies, TV shows, or books. Therefore, to a large extent, it prevented cheating. Moreover, the website would deal with abnormal data in a timely manner. Therefore, although the rating could not represent the mainstream, it had a certain degree of authority. Most of the members of the Light and Shadow Network were urban white-collar workers. They liked artistic works. Most of them were disgusted with the popular idol dramas. Therefore, it was not easy for a TV show like Full of Romance to win a high score here. It was worth mentioning that Autumn in My Heart had a rating of 7.5 on the Light and Shadow Network. Moreover, the Light and Shadow Network's reviews were very polarized. Those who liked it praised it highly, while those who didn't like it hated it. The reason for their dislike was that they hated the melodramatic plot, the sadomasochism, and the female lead. The ratings for Full of Romance were obviously much better than Autumn in My Heart. There were many positive reviews. I watched Full of Romance last night. At least the story attracted me, so I give it 8.5. A modern version of Cinderella and the Prince. I give the screenwriter a thumbs up. He can write an old story with new ideas. I feel that Chun Fair's acting has improved significantly. It's better than Autumn in My Heart. Lu Chan is very much like a star. I give him 9 points. The scenery in Jeju Island is so beautiful. Browsing through the comments section of Full of Romance, a joyful smile appeared on Chun Fair's face. She had been in the industry for many years and had experienced prosperity. However, she had high hopes for this TV series that she had poured a lot of effort into. She also hoped that it would be recognized and loved by the audience. In order to play the female lead of Full of Romance, Chun Fair had specially invited 2 well-known senior teachers in the industry to guide her acting skills. Her hard work was obviously not in vain. After reading the ratings and reviews of Full of Romance, Chun Fair clicked on Sea of Love. 6.2 points. Contrary to the situation where the ratings of Full of Romance were higher than Full of Romance, the ratings of Sea of Love on the Light and Shadow Network were at least 3 streets behind the latter. The average score given by more than 3,000 members was just over 6 points. This kind of reputation was very difficult to achieve. Although Chun Fair was very clear that the ratings of the Light and Shadow Network did not represent the opinions of the mainstream audience, and the works with high ratings were all over the place. However, the little bit of depression in her heart had disappeared because of this. At least it was a good start, wasn't it? Chapter 397. Unlike the ratings on the Guangying website on the blog of Waves, there are good reviews of Sea of Love everywhere. In fact, the premiere of Full House of Romance is already very strong. The overall average rating has reached 1.13%, which has left most of the similar TV series in the dust. It can be said that it is a good start, and it is worth celebrating. But the problem is that due to the early publicity war, Full House of Romance and Sea of Love are considered to be opposite each other. Shonan TV's tit-for-tat broadcasting strategy also makes the competition between the 2 TV series full of gunpowder, which makes people naturally compare them. The ratings of Full House of Romance lost to Sea of Love by 0.32%, which naturally gave some people the best topic. On his blog, Hu Yang proudly brushed the title of the blog post 50%. Although he did not name names, everyone knew that he was showing off the results of Sea of Love and demonstrating to Luchan that he can still be the protagonist, and he is very good at it. Compared with the other protagonist of the boundless Sea of Love, that is Zhang Liwei, who plays the heroine, Hu Yang is undoubtedly much more high profile. He has made a name for himself on the blog, and has also attracted great disgust from Luchan fans. Zhang Liwei also became famous because of Autumn in My Heart. Unlike Hu Yang, she did not get rid of her agency after becoming famous, but continued to stay. After taking over the role of the heroine of Sea of Love, Zhang Liwei also posted on her blog to promote the TV series, or release some shooting footage or something. But her publicity was only aimed at the show itself, and never involved Full House of Romance. Even if she was asked sensitive questions by reporters, she always cleverly avoided them. Compared with Zhang Liwei's modesty and prudence, Hu Yang is really too arrogant. This makes many people feel surprised. As a young artist who has just become popular, Hu Yang is so ostentatious and even arrogant. It is a bit too much to PK with Luchan. As an artist, in fact, it is better to be low-key and modest. Isn't Hu Yang's approach a little stupid? In fact, Hu Yang is not stupid. On the contrary, he is very smart, even too smart. First of all, he knew what he was relying on. It was the Assembly of Stars agency and Shonan TV. With the support of these two, he would be able to stand firm in the entertainment industry and not be afraid of ordinary storms. Secondly, through this method, Hu Yang gained a lot of attention, and the number of fans on his blog kept increasing. Although he had attracted a lot of haters because of this, who didn't have haters? Luchan had it, and so did Chan Feier. There was no need to be afraid of having anti-fans. The scariest thing was that no one paid attention to them. The more attention they had, the higher their commercial value. Even if they were scolded by others, they would still have a large income from endorsements and advertisements. If they didn't seize the opportunity to hype up now, when would they? Therefore, not only would Hu Yang not restrain himself, but he would also continue to show off the viewership ratings. Now it was 50%. Tomorrow it might be 70%. The day after that it might reach 2%. Basking in the sun once was equivalent to slapping Lu Chen's face. How could he not be happy? Lu Chen's target for Full of Romance was 4%. He had too many opportunities to slap people's faces. With results, attention, fun, and money, why wouldn't Hu Yang do it? He couldn't wait to hype up the show as much as possible. If Lu Chen fought with him, that would be even better. Of course, Lu Chen wouldn't do something as lowly as fighting with him, but that didn't mean that Lu Chen wouldn't fight back. Moreover, Lu Chen had just mastered a powerful weapon. Less than 10 minutes after Hu Yang updated his blog, Lu Chen also posted a new blog post. In this blog post titled Thanks, he first thanked the fans for their support for the new drama, Full of Romance, which allowed the premiere of the drama to reach 1%, achieving the first step of his goal. In addition, Lu Chen had another piece of good news to tell everyone. The premiere of Full of Romance in Korea had exceeded 15%, reaching 21%. This rating not only set a record for the premiere of domestic dramas in Korea, but it was also the runner-up for the premiere of the same genre on Korean TV this year, only 5% behind the champion. If it wasn't for the natural disadvantage of imported dramas, or if it was changed to KBS and MBC, the two stronger Korean TV stations, then there would be no suspense in the championship. As soon as Lu Chen's blog post was published, not only did it attract cheers and waves from fans, but it also gave a heavy blow to those who belittled Full of Romance on the blog. Of course, that included Hu Yang. Is 50% that great? Then try 15%. These people who were hit in the head only then remembered that Full of Romance was the first domestic drama to premiere in Korea at the same time. Its opening in Korea was perfect. Even if South Korea's market is much smaller than China's, don't forget that South Korea's variety shows have always been at the forefront in China. Full House of Romance followed Autumn in My Heart in South Korea. Can Sea of Love compare to it? No matter how stubborn they were, the truth was the truth. It couldn't be erased. Hu Yang wanted to use the ratings to slap Lu Chen in the face, but Lu Chen slapped him in the face. Stop talking nonsense. If you have the guts, go abroad and compete with others. In fact, in view of the success of Autumn in My Heart, Shonan TV also intended to export Sea of Love to Korea through MBC TV, copying the former's route. However, negotiations weren't that easy to reach. MBC was much more conservative and xenophobic than KGS. If Shonan TV didn't pay enough, it would be difficult to realize this wish. And even if Sea of Love could be broadcast in Korea in the future, so what? Now they had completely lost to their opponents. Lu Chen's thank you blog post not only received a lot of forwarding and likes, but many industry peers also forwarded their congratulations. SPG's official V also posted photos of Full of Romance playing on the big screens on the buildings in the bustling streets of Seoul. Many media outlets also used the method of news announcements to release the news of the success of Full of Romance in Korea on their respective websites. They speculated that this TV series should be able to set a new record for domestic dramas to be broadcast abroad. The impact of this was that many people had a strong interest in the TV series Full of Romance and used the playback function of digital TVs to watch the first and second episodes of last night's premiere. And tonight, Full of Romance would continue to broadcast the third and fourth episodes. This couldn't help but start to guess what the result of the collision of the two TV series would be. Would Sea of Love be able to maintain its ratings advantage over Full of Romance? Everyone was looking forward to it. Chapter 398. On the evening of July 23rd, Full House of Romance continued to broadcast the third and fourth episodes on Judong and Beijing television. Shonan TV's Sea of Love aired the fifth and sixth episodes. The competition between the ratings of these two TV series has become the biggest hot spot on the domestic summer screen, and many film and television production companies and industry professionals have also paid great attention to it. Because whichever show wins the ratings is likely to bring about a wave in the industry. This phenomenon has existed on the domestic screen for many years, such as the original anti-Japanese drama, spy drama, idol drama, sitcom, etc., all of which became popular after a classic show, and then followed the trend to imitate it. Even if you can't eat fat meat, you can still get a few mouthfuls of soup to drink. The most important thing is that many investors like to invest in this kind of TV series. The risk is small, the return is high, and the profit is high. Before the premiere of Full House of Romance, in the eyes of many people in the industry, Lu Chan was not very smart. His first TV series, Autumn in My Heart, had already been a great success, but he didn't follow up with the second or third series. Instead, he changed his style and unknowingly abandoned many of the fans and audience of Autumn in My Heart, increasing the risk. Lu Chen's approach is obviously not mature enough. It is estimated that he became famous at a young age, and he has the support of several industry giants. Unexpectedly, he went against the powerful Shonan TV, which makes people sweat when they think about it. And the ratings of the premiere seem to prove Lu Chen's mistake. However, the 21% ratings of Full House of Romance in South Korea really scared everyone, making people lack the courage to complain. No one dared to point at Lu Chen again. Even if Full House of Romance is really a flop in China, it is still something to be proud of. What's more, Full House of Romance is not bad. But its light in China is temporarily overshadowed by its opponent. The battle between Full House of Romance and Sea of Love has just begun, and everyone is waiting to see who will laugh in the end. On the morning of July 24th, the official website of New Channel updated the domestic TV program ratings list on its homepage. As a result, the number of visitors to the website set a new record. It was not only the media and people in the film and television industry who clicked to visit New Channel's official website. There were also a large number of ordinary fans. This was because the ratings battle launched by Waves blog had already affected them. Shonen TV's Sea of Love, the fifth episode's rating was 1.49%, the sixth episode's rating was 1.45%, the average rating of the two episodes was 1.47%, ranking first. The overall viewership ratings for the third episode of Full House of Romance was 1.43% and the fourth episode was 1.47%. The average was 1.45%. Ranked second. The industry was in an uproar. Shonan TV's summer self-produced drama Sea of Love had invested a lot in publicity, and the premiere had seized the opportunity in advance. The first two episodes had been aired in the name of a trial broadcast a week ago, which was a good start. Riding on the momentum of the success of the premiere and the accumulated sense of anticipation from the audience, Sea of Love was broadcast for 3 consecutive days this weekend. It competed with Full House of Romance in the ratings, and won the first round beautifully. In everyone's view, the advantage of Sea of Love would definitely continue to be maintained for a period of time, and the decisive battle between the two sides should be in the middle. No one expected that the situation would change so dramatically overnight. The 4th episode of Sea of Love hit 1.5%, and the 5th and 6th episodes actually showed a downward trend. Although it maintained its first place with an average rating of 1.47%, even outsiders could see its decline, let alone the industry insiders. The ratings of a TV series were like a boat sailing against the current, not moving forward or backward. The ratings of the first half of the series were the most critical. Only by rushing all the way up could the average ratings be pulled up. Once it fell, it would be difficult to recover. The ratings of the 30 episodes of Sea of Love had only been broadcast for 4 episodes, and the ratings had dropped. Such a result was undoubtedly like a resounding slap in the face of Shonan TV. It was too embarrassing. Compared with Sea of Love, the ratings of Full House of Romance had improved significantly, directly pulling up to 1.47%. The latest single episode had actually surpassed its opponent, showing the momentum of soaring. Of course, it was too early to say that Full House of Romance had defeated Sea of Love. No one dared to say that Full House of Romance would not have the same decline in ratings as its opponent. But the possibility of this was really too small, because the growth of the ratings of Full House of Romance was achieved under the strong growth of Sea of Love, and vice versa. In the blog of Waves, the marketing pushers, video critics, and fans of Sea of Love were speechless for a while. Hu Yang, who used to read 8 or 10 articles a day, was completely silent. He was too embarrassed to post another 1.45% blog post on his blog, right? It was not enough for others to laugh at. But Hu Yang and others shrank their heads, and Lu Chen's fans were proud. Lu Chen's studio and the official V of Full House of Romance had not said anything, but Lu Chen's fangroup V could not wait to send out a congratulatory blog post. The title was very interesting. 1.47%. It was a complete imitation, a real slap in the face. And in a strange silence and noise, that is, on Sunday night, the 5th and 6th episodes of Full House of Romance were broadcast, and the 7th and 8th episodes of Sea of Love were broadcast. On Monday morning, the official website of New Video was updated again. The overall rating of the 5th episode of Full House of Romance was 1.67%, the 6th episode was 1.75%, and the average was 1.71%. Ranked first, Sea of Love was unable to reverse the decline, and the ratings of the 7th and 8th episodes fell again 1.42% and 1.40%, respectively, ranking second with an average of 1.41%. It was not terrible to be one step behind, but terrible to be behind step by step, and unable to recover. Full House of Romance surpassed Sea of Love in average ratings by 0.3%, proudly and confidently stood at the top of the domestic TV ratings of the same period, and rushed to the 3rd place among all TV shows, full of momentum. In just 3 days, the second TV series written and starring by Lu Chen, in the face of a strong opponent, from falling behind to catching up and successfully surpassing, completed an incredible and gorgeous counterattack. And anyone could see that the average 1.61% was far from the end of the ratings of Full House of Romance. As the plot of the TV series deepened and the reputation fermented, it was not a dream to realize Lu Chen's bold claim of breaking 4 out of 3. Such a result made Shonan TV's publicity on Sea of Love completely muted. Many people in the industry were completely confused. They did not understand why such a situation happened. They had expected a long and fierce battle, but Full House of Romance neatly cut down its opponent. Why did this happen? Chapter 399. Why is that? Wan Xiaoquan took a sip of fragrant tea and said in a deep voice, because now the audience is tired of the kind of TV series that follow the trend. The audience's appreciation level is improving, and the requirements for movies and TV series are also improving. So the film and television production companies that are not enterprising and only want to take advantage of the situation will not be able to survive sooner or later. They can't always rely on clumsy plagiarism and shoddy plots to deceive the audience. Without novel creativity and unique ideas, it is inevitable that the audience will abandon it. In my opinion, Sea of Love is a TV series with beautiful packaging and powerful advertising, but the content is terrible. It is no different from the previous self-made TV series of Shonen TV. However, they ignore a very important point, that is, the TV audience has matured. To be honest, I was surprised that the ratings of Sea of Love didn't drop until the 5th or 6th episode. In my opinion, there is no need to watch the first 2 episodes of this TV series. It's enough to watch Autumn in My Heart. Why chew the cold rice again? Listening to his complaints, everyone present showed a knowing smile. July was the hottest season in Beijing, but in the elegant room of Yumming Tea Garden, there was no need to turn on the air conditioner. The cool breeze blew into the room from the open window, making people feel naturally relaxed and happy. A pot of good tea, a few snacks, and 3 or 5 friends sitting and talking were enough to easily pass the afternoon. Wan Xiaoquan looked a little excited. He put down the teacup and stared at Lu Chan sitting opposite him. His eyes showed a look of admiration. In contrast, the story of Full of Romance is much more interesting. It is warm, romantic, and humorous, giving the audience a full sense of novelty. The good thing about this TV series is that the screenwriter can tell the story. It is inevitable that the ratings will surpass Sea of Love, and it will be higher. A middle-aged man at the table smiled and said, "Old Wan, I didn't expect you to study TV series now." Although it was a joke, there was no malice because he was an old friend of Wan Xiaoquan's for many years. Today's party was initiated by Wan Xiaoquan. He invited several friends in the circle and Lu Chan. It just so happened that Lu Chan was able to find some time to participate in this tea party in this small circle. Wan Xiaoquan is a student of director Zhang Wentian, and one of the well-known representatives of the 5th generation of directors in the industry. He is a very talented person and deeply appreciated by Zhang Wentian. As the saying goes, one's personality determines one's fate. Wan Xiaoquan had a very bad temper. 2 years ago, he was sent to prison for injuring someone in a conflict. He had just been released from prison a few months ago. Nowadays, Wan Xiaoquan was basically living in seclusion. Because of the relevant regulations of the State Administration of Radio, Film and Television, no film company or investors asked him to film, and his life was very poor. As for his friends, there were only a few of them left in front of him. After experiencing this unforeseen event, Wan Xiaoquan's temper had obviously changed. He was no longer violent and irritable, but had become tolerant and calm. If his friends had played such a joke on him in the past, he would definitely have been angry, but now he just laughed it off. "I'm bored, so I watch TV at home every day," Wan Xiaoquan said in a self-deprecating manner. "I was thinking that since I can't act in movies in the future, I might as well try acting in television." His friends fell silent. Although Wan Xiaoquan had a bad temper in the past, he was full of confidence and pride, as well as the desire to create. Right now, there was always a lingering sense of decadence that he could not get rid of. In the past, Wan Xiaoquan disdained TV dramas. In his opinion, movies were the real art. Now he was sitting at home watching TV. The contrast was too sharp, making people feel sad. Lu Chan keenly felt the change in the atmosphere in the elegant room. He calmly opened the briefcase he brought with him, took out a thick stack of manuscript paper, and handed it to Wan Xiaoquan. Wan Xiaoquan was suddenly stunned. "This is," Lu Chan said with a smile, "this is a movie script I wrote. I want to ask Teacher Wan for some advice." Wan Xiaoquan was surprised. "Then I have to take a good look." He solemnly took the script with both hands, and his eyes couldn't help but fall on the front page of the script. The title of the script was very eye-catching, Chinese Ghost Story. Wan Xiaoquan's heart couldn't help but jump. He couldn't help but turn to the first page and read the introduction of the script carefully. The introduction on the second page had 300 to 400 words, and it took him a full 5 minutes to finish reading it. After reading the outline of the story, Wan Xiaoquan let out a long breath. "This is Nie Xiaoqian from Strange Stories from a Chinese Studio," Lu Chan said with a smile. "Yes, my script is based on Nie Xiaoqian." Wan Xiaoquan felt a little confused. "You want to make a movie?" Lu Chan nodded. Yes. There was nothing to avoid. The path he had set for himself in life was to walk the path of film, television, and singing. In the entertainment industry, movie actors were the most pretentious among all the artists. The idea of making a movie hadn't just appeared in Lu Chen's mind for a day or two. It could be said that he had it ever since he stepped into the industry, and he had already started planning. This script of a Chinese ghost story was written and sorted out by him in 5 days. There were about 40,000 words in total, and there were hundreds of pages printed. Since returning to Beijing after the national promotional tour of Full House of Romance, Lu Chen spent most of his time at home typing on the keyboard behind closed doors. In addition to writing The Smiling Proud Wanderer, it was a Chinese ghost story. He was going to use this movie as his debut on the screen. It was just that there were only a few movie directors that Lu Chen knew. The most famous one, Zhang Wentian, had retired, so he thought of Wan Shaoquan. It just so happened that Wan Shaoquan invited him to tea, so he printed the script and brought it over. Wan Shaoquan was good at period films and had shot The Legend of the White Snake. Lu Chen believed that with his directing skills, there should be no problem directing a Chinese ghost story. Wan Shaoquan was not a fool. Although Lu Chen did not say it clearly, how could he not understand what Lu Chen meant? "You don't want me to direct this movie, do you?" Lu Chen said with a smile. "If Teacher Wan can help, that would naturally be the best." Wan Shaoquan said with a wry smile, "It's not like you don't know my situation." He had been in prison for more than a year, but he had not paid the price for his impulsiveness that year. He would be banned in the industry for at least 2 years. How could he come out and be a director now? Although he was very tempted. Although Lu Chen is young, he is modest and knows how to respect his seniors. He is also a well-known artist and has opened his own studio. He is doing very well in the circle and has a strong market appeal. Tian, not bad. In other words, Lu Chen was a very good partner. Unfortunately, Wan Shaoquan sighed low in his heart. Chapter 400. The more developed the entertainment industry was, the more scandals there were in the entertainment industry. The rise of the internet had allowed the interaction between people to reach an unprecedented level. Information that could only be obtained through television, radio, newspapers, and magazines in the past could now be obtained immediately through the internet. The internet had also allowed celebrities and idols to receive far more attention than before. But at the same time, the negative news of celebrities would also be magnified on the internet, easily triggering a frenzy of public opinion. The same rice fed all kinds of people. In this industry there were all kinds of people. As more and more people entered, negative news was constantly exposed, causing the public's negative impression of the entertainment industry to deepen. Drug abuse, prostitution, cheating, drunk driving, brawling. In recent years, these scandals had become frequent guests in the entertainment section of the media. They often appeared in the headlines, causing their social influence to continue to expand. Under such circumstances, the relevant departments of the country had no choice but to come up with corresponding rules and increase the punishment for celebrities who violated laws and regulations or morals. It was no longer the 3 glasses of wine punishment that they used to have. Wan Shaoquan had been imprisoned for a year and a half for assaulting someone. Although his crime was pardonable, rules were rules. It was a law that everyone had to abide by. 2 years of imprisonment was already considered a lenient punishment. Therefore, Wan Shaoquan could not make a movie in these 2 years. Even if he did, he could not be released or broadcast. Of course, no film production company or investors would look for him. The only way left for him was to either retire temporarily or find another job. In fact, the impact of such a ban was very far-reaching. It was better for a director like Wan Shaoquan, but if it was an idol artist, 2 years was enough to completely push them into the abyss, unable to make a comeback. However, for Wan Shaoquan, he could still support himself after sitting on the bench for 2 years. At least he would not starve to death. However, not being able to engage in a career that he liked and dedicated his life to was undoubtedly a great torment. Compared to 2 years ago, Wan Shaoquan gave people the feeling that he had aged at least 10 years, and his sideburns had turned white. Therefore, when he saw the script of a Chinese ghost story that Lu Chen took out, Wan Shaoquan was excited at first. He felt a warm current surging in his body, quickly spreading throughout his body, making him feel as if he had regained the vitality of life. However, when he thought of his own situation, it was as if a basin of ice water had been poured over his head, and he suddenly woke up. This feeling was really difficult to describe in words. The conflict in his heart made Wan Xiaoquan clench his fists. His knuckles turned white from clenching too hard. When Lu Chan saw this, he sighed in his heart. Of course, Lu Chan knew the trouble that Wan Xiaoquan was facing, but since he had taken out the script, he must have come prepared. Mr. Wan, I would like to invite you to be my director in this movie. There were policies and countermeasures. Wan Xiaoquan couldn't be a director in name, but it was not a problem for him to be a consultant and guide. To put it bluntly, he was selling dog meat under a sheep's head to avoid the ban. However, in this way, even if the entire movie was directed by Wan Xiaoquan, his name would not appear in it. Whether it was in the publicity or in the subtitles, he was equivalent to an invisible person. This was undoubtedly a compromise. Lu Chan had only proposed it because he understood Wan Xiaoquan's situation. If the other party was addicted to drugs, then no matter how talented Wan Xiaoquan was, Lu Chan would only stay away from him. After all, it was risky for him to hire Wan Xiaoquan as a director. Wan Xiaoquan's eyes suddenly lit up. As an insider, how could he not understand what Lu Chan meant? This method was completely feasible. Although there was no direct honor as a director, what he needed most now was a job, not honor. Actually, at this time, the middle-aged man sitting next to him suddenly said, "I have a suggestion." Lu Chan quickly said, "Mr. Zhang, go ahead." This middle-aged man, surnamed Zhang, was a senior independent media person and one of Wan Xiaoquan's few friends. The middle-aged man said seriously, "Xiao Lu, if you want to invite Lao Wan to direct your movie, I suggest you take him to Xiangjiang." Lu Chan couldn't help but be stunned. "To Xiangjiang?" "Yes, to Xiangjiang." The man smiled and said, "You may not know, but at the beginning of the year SARFT issued a new regulation. This new regulation was specifically aimed at the film industry of Xiangjiang, echoing with the film industry support plan of the Xiangjiang Special District Government, with the intention of helping to revitalize the film industry of Xiangjiang. The film industry of Xiangjiang was once very glorious in the 1980s and 1990s. After Xiangjiang returned to the motherland in 77 years, a large number of local films were able to be released in the huge mainland market. Urban films, comedies, ghost films, police films and so on deeply affected several generations of young people, and many film and television stars also emerged. There were even many third-rate romance films that flowed into the mainland and were played in places such as street video halls. However, this prosperity did not last for too long. Due to the serious homogeneity and the emergence of shoddy production, it was gradually abandoned by the audience. In addition, the vigorous development of the mainland film and television industry, Xiangjiang's film industry suffered a great impact and soon declined after entering the new century. Therefore, many practitioners went north to seek development, and the continuous loss of talent aggravated this decline. In the past 10 years, Xiangjiang's film industry has been seeking a breakthrough in difficulties, and there have been a few good films, but it was undoubtedly a fool's dream to restore the prosperity of the past. And Xiangjiang's filmmakers have also been calling for the support of the government. The new regulation of SARFT and the support plan of the Xiangjiang Special District Government were brewed under this background. Wan Xiaoquan's old friend further explained in detail, "You have no foundation in the film industry. Instead of choosing to compete with so many strong opponents in the capital, it is better to jump to Xiangjiang and start a new career, such as opening a film studio." The film industry support plan of the Xiangjiang government is not only effective for the locals. Any film production company registered in Xiangjiang can enjoy preferential and supportive policies, and can also participate in the local film market of Xiangjiang, and at the same time radiate to Taiwan, Japan, and Southeast Asia. The most important thing is that, according to the new regulation of SARFT, movies produced in Xiangjiang can apply for approval and broadcast Green Channel. Once approved, then it can be released in the 3 major domestic cinemas and small and medium-sized cinemas at the same time. Just this point alone is completely worth going to Xiangjiang. Lu Chen's heart palpitated. Chapter 401. The domestic film industry was developing rapidly. As of 2015, apart from the 3 special administrative regions, there were more than 5,000 cinemas and 25,000 screens in the country. The annual box office reached 48 billion, accounting for 50% of the Asia-Pacific market, second only to the United States. In China, the three major cinemas, Wanlong, New Generation, and Meichen divided the main share of the film market. Wanlong owned more than 400 cinemas, and was the well-deserved leader. The profits brought by operating the cinemas were quite amazing. According to the proportion of the domestic film box office, of the 100 yuan box office, 5 yuan had to be paid to the film fund, 5 yuan as tax, and the remaining 91. 5 yuan, 45 yuan for the cinemas, 15 yuan for the cinemas, and only 5 yuan for the producers and distributors. This meant that the cinemas with a large number of cinemas could share the most abundant profits. Not only that, with the expansion of the film market, the rich cinemas extended their tentacles to the forefront, forming a one-stop shooting, production, distribution, and screening model, eating up all the meat from top to bottom. In such a situation, big and small film and television production companies were bound to be suppressed by the cinemas, and the competition between them was very fierce. As an independent artist, if Lu Chan wanted to squeeze into this market, it could be imagined how difficult it would be. Lu Chan had to rely on a powerful production company, establish a good cooperative relationship with the three major cinemas, and then share most of the benefits to get a foothold. And in the process, Lu Chan also had to look at other people's eyes. Of course, he didn't need to do this. With his current popularity, there was no problem for him to be the male lead in a certain movie. Participating in the shooting and producing and distributing were completely different things. And Lu Chen's ambition was obviously not satisfied with being the male lead in the movie. He wanted more. Wan Xiaochuan's friend saw this, so he made such a suggestion, to go to Xiangjiang. With the new regulations of the SARFT and the support plan of the Xiangjiang government, he could get a very good starting point without any historical burden, and with the Green Channel it would be much easier to distribute in the country. Because even the three major cinemas had to bow down to the SRFT. In addition, the foundation of Xiangjiang's film and television industry was very good. There were many people in the industry, including directors, actors, cameramen, makeup artists, props artists, and other film and television-related professionals. Xiangjiang had already formed a very mature operating system. Also, the salary of the local actors in Xiangjiang was generally lower than that in China. This was also one of the main reasons why many Xiangjiang actors liked to go to the mainland to film and appear on programs. Of course, there were also disadvantages to developing in Xiangjiang. That was, the culture and social atmosphere of Xiangjiang were quite different from that of the mainland. If one could not adapt to it, the loss would outweigh the gain. Finally, what Wan Xiaochuan's friend didn't say was that going to Xiangjiang to start a new life was the best choice for Wan Xiaochuan. Because no one would care about his past there, and he could live a more relaxed life. All of these made Lu Chan really tempted. The benefits of going to Xiangjiang were obvious. As for how to integrate into the local people of Xiangjiang, it was not a big problem for Lu Chan. He could speak fluent Cantonese. Because Su Bo was a native of Cantonese, he could also sing Cantonese songs very well. There was no barrier in communicating with the people of Xiangjiang who mainly spoke Cantonese. Lu Chan thought for a moment and said to Wan Xiaochuan, "Teacher Wan, how about this? I'll register a movie studio in Xiangjiang first, and then you can go there first to help me support the stall and prepare for this movie?" It was impossible for Lu Chan to open a company to make a movie now. In fact, there was no prearrangement in his plan for this year. In the next half of the year, he would release a new album and hold his own solo concert. It had been nearly a year since the release of Lu Chen's debut album, You Who Sat Next to Me. Many fans were looking forward to his second album. In the past year, Lu Chan had also accumulated enough works, so there was no problem in releasing a new album. Most importantly, he now also had a high-end recording studio and a professional music team. If he didn't release a new album, when would he? After releasing the second album, he would hold a solo concert at the end of the year and push his singing career to a new peak, which was also in Lu Chen's plan. There had always been a popular saying in the pop music world, that is, a singer who has not held a special concert is not a real star. For example, Chan Fayer had been in the industry for more than 10 years, and she had held countless concerts. If she hadn't been shooting with Lu Chan, she would have had a concert last year, which had been delayed until this year. It was also imperative to hold a concert, and it was certainly not enough. It was necessary to tour several major cities. With all these things, Lu Chan had no time to run to Xiangjiang to prepare a movie studio, and Lu Xi was also not free. But if he missed this opportunity, if there were any changes in the policy in the future, it would be too late to plot at that time. The so-called opportunity would not come again. In this way, asking Wan Shaoquan to come out of retirement was undoubtedly a very good choice. Let him go to Xiangjiang first, familiarize himself with the local situation, recruit useful talents, and occupy the pit firmly. At that time it would be much easier for Lu Chun to go there. Treating people with sincerity, Lu Chun clearly told his thoughts to Wan Shaoquan. As for his choice, Lu Chun would respect it. Wan Shaoquan did not hesitate. Only after losing something would he know how to cherish it. This time he had the opportunity to go to Xiangjiang to start anew, which was an opportunity and a challenge for him. Maybe he would face all kinds of difficulties, but that was precisely the meaning of life. The most terrible thing was not the difficulties, but the slow decay in silence. As long as there were movies to shoot, Wan Shaoquan did not mind working for Lu Chun at all. Moreover, Lu Chun's attitude towards creation was not comparable to those who only wanted to make money. In his heart, he was very grateful to Lu Chun. How could the icing on the cake compare to charcoal in snowy weather? It was just that Wan Shaoquan was an introverted person. He would not show his gratitude on his face all the time. He would use actual work and achievements to repay Lu Chun's investment. Just like that, the matter was settled. Of course, Wan Shaoquan could not leave immediately. Lu Chun still had to give him 1 or 2 reliable assistants. In addition, he had to prepare the funds for the establishment of the Xiangjiang studio. He needed to discuss and solve these with Lu Shi. And now the most important thing for Lu Chun was the hit, Full House of Romance. On July 29th, the 7th and 8th episodes of Full House of Romance were broadcast. Chapter 402. A week ago, Full House of Romance premiered in Beijing and Zhejiang satellite TV. 6 episodes were broadcast for 3 days in a row, and the ratings jumped from 1.13% to 1.75%. The increase was amazing, and it also caused a lot of response among the audience. This urban emotional TV series took the route of comedy and romance. In Lu Chen's dream world, the original work opened the prelude to the transformation from tragedy to comedy of Korean TV series. It was a milestone work of Korean TV series. The original work's premiere in South Korea broke through 34% of the ratings. The average rating of the whole series was 31.9%, and the highest rating reached 47%. After that, it was broadcast in more than 13 countries such as China, the United States, and Japan and achieved good results. Now Lu Chun has remade the adaptation, enriching the plot and characters, and even deepening and modifying the characters of the male and female protagonists, completely making up for the defects of the original work, and the degree of excitement is much better than the original work. So Lu Chun confidently shouted the words, "Flat 3 high 4." And the performance of Full House of Romance did not disappoint him. In just 6 episodes it overturned Shonan TV's Sea of Love, showing an unparalleled momentum. On July 29th, the 7th and 8th episodes of Full House of Romance were broadcast, with a rating of 1.97% and 2.25% respectively. This kind of stable and frightening increase is simply terrible, because most TV series will show irregular curve fluctuations in the ratings, and it is really rare to see a continuous straight-line rise like Full House of Romance. At this time, even those who are biased against Lu Chun have to admit that he has succeeded again, and is likely to create new records and results. In South Korea, the ratings of Full House of Romance have exceeded 30%, and KGS has increased its publicity efforts for this. On the internet, there are more and more fans of Full House of Romance. The number of fans on Waves blog has exceeded the 1 million mark, and the popularity of related posts and forums has remained high. Lu Chun, who plays the big star protagonist, and Chan Fair, who plays the online female writer, have once again gained a wave of fans with the help of this TV series, becoming the most popular couple on the domestic screen at present. The delicate shooting style, the beautiful exotic atmosphere, the interlocking storyline, the handsome and determined male protagonist, and the beautiful female protagonist, who is a little silly, jointly interpret a moving story full of warmth and romance. Completely contrary to the bitter sadomasochism of Autumn in My Heart, this TV series is aimed at making people happy. The characters in the story have a lot of humorous dialogue, and many wonderful sentences have quickly spread on the internet. The audience is the most realistic. The remote control is in their hands. Watching a TV series that has been shot with more than 100 million investment, and it has been shot with countless efforts and time, there is no reason for them to directly change the channel if they feel it is not to their liking. But they were also the most selfless. When they saw a drama they liked, they would take the initiative to recommend it to their friends and family. They would even argue with those who opposed it on the internet. The extreme development of the information network has made it very easy to spread this kind of evaluation from the audience. QQ Faixin blogs BBS. One person's opinion can easily be seen by tens of thousands of people. The reputation of Full House of Romance has been fermenting over time. The increase in the ratings is completely natural, and the potential is infinite. It's just that the rise of a winner is often stepping on the bones of countless losers. Full House of Romance is undoubtedly Shonen TV's Sea of Love as a stepping stone. It's very interesting to say that Shonen TV originally premiered Sea of Love first and competed head-on with Full House of Romance in the ratings. Their purpose was to step on the ladder and prove that they are worthy of being the king of the summer slot. The momentum of the premiere of Sea of Love is very good. The production quality of this TV series is actually not bad. However, as a tragedy that follows the trend, its biggest tragedy is precisely that it chose to fight head-on with Full House of Romance. Shonen TV has not realized that the audience's appreciation tastes are changing. They are wishful thinking that they can replicate the success of Autumn in My Heart. They are superstitious about their own successful publicity and hype. They stubbornly and arrogantly refuse to believe that Lu Chen's Full House of Romance is a strong opponent. In their view, only Full House of Romance avoids the edge of Sea of Romance. There is absolutely no reason for Sea of Romance to retreat from Full House of Romance. But the market has ruthlessly educated them, slapping the faces of those who advocate Sea of Romance and belittle Full House of Romance. On July 30th, the 9th and 10th episodes of Full House of Romance were broadcast with ratings of 2.75% and 2.96%, respectively. The highest ratings were only 0.4% away from breaking through 3%. At the same time, Full House of Romance's ratings in South Korea broke through 35% and moved towards the 40% mark. With less than half of the episodes broadcast, Full House of Romance has become a phenomenal new TV series. It firmly occupies the top spot of all TV shows in the same period, leaving other TV series far behind. It has booked the throne of the summer ratings in advance. Unless there is a shocking reversal, it will be unshakable. In contrast, the ratings of Sea of Romance have fallen to about 1%, which is extremely embarrassing. The first few episodes of this Shonen TV masterpiece are still some highlights, but in the middle, the usual nature of the melodramatic screenwriter is exposed, and it can't get rid of the pattern of Autumn in My Heart, so the audience has little expectation for the later plot, and it can't help but feel like chewing wax. The reason why it can struggle at 1% is because of the fans of many idol stars in the show. On the internet, especially in the blog of Waves, which is the main position of film and TV series publicity, the blog posts touting Sea of Romance have been greatly reduced. But anyone with a little brain knows that the show has been exhausted, and it is really stupid to continue to spend money on publicity. In the industry, there are many voices of rational discussion about the very different performance of the two TV series. Why did the magic weapon that Shonen TV relied on to sweep the market fail? Why did the great change from a sad sadomasochistic drama to a romantic comedy always win the audience's favor? Has the domestic TV series reached the critical moment of seeking novelty and change? Everything is worth thinking about. In such thinking and discussion, as the leading actor of the two phenomenal dramas, Autumn in My Heart and Full House of Romance, screenwriter, producer, arranger, and other important identities, Lu Chen's status in the industry has quietly risen. He may still lack some foundation from the real big stars, but whether it is popularity or fame, he has become the top. The most important thing is that he is still very young, very young. Youth means unlimited possibilities in the future. Chapter 403. It's not easy to see you now. The soft voice with a hint of hidden bitterness coming from the mouth of a beautiful woman made people unable to bear it. But Lu Chen just smiled faintly and said, "Sorry, I've been too busy recently." Today in his own studio, he had already received 3 visitors, and the 4th visitor was the general manager of Light Rain Media. Miss Su Qingmei. Lu Chun was not perfunctory. Since the ratings of the new drama, Full House of Romance, exceeded 3%, the number of media who came to visit or called for interviews suddenly increased. Various film and television entertainment companies and agencies came one after another, and there were even more institutional investors. Lu Shi, who was the general manager of the studio and Lu Chen's agent, couldn't even use 3 mobile phones. It was too late to deal with all kinds of people who came to the door, so she grabbed him from home to share the pressure. Su Qingmei had contacted Lu Chan several times, and today she finally caught him. The general manager of Light Rain Media had a very complicated heart. Just over a year ago, she looked at Lu Chan with a completely condescending attitude. At that time, Lu Chan was just a small singer and forget grass bar, no different from thousands of newcomers in the capital. However, a year later, now Lu Chan had reached the point where she needed to look up to him. She had to make an appointment several times to see him, as if the identity of the two sides had been reversed. Of course, Su Qingmei's identity was not so low, but she came to find Lu Chan because she had something to ask. I know you are a busy person. Su Qingmei quickly adjusted her mentality and said straightforwardly, our company recently signed a newcomer, who is very talented. I want to ask you to write a single for her. Lu Chan readily agreed. Okay. I'll arrange a time for her to come over and meet me. In the film and television industry, Lu Chan, who only had 2 works, was not a real big star, but in the pop music industry he was worthy of being the best singer, and his works were enough to overshadow any of his peers. For example, in the currently popular Full House of Romance, Lu Chan wrote a theme song and 2 interludes, which quickly made it to the original music chart. No one could doubt his talent in pop music. And Lu Chan was also the highest-priced songwriter in the circle. The sky-high price of 500,000 for a work set a record, which also greatly increased the treatment of his peers. Although the price tag was jaw-dropping, there was still an endless stream of entertainment agencies and singers who came to invite Lu Chan for songs, because his works were equivalent to bestsellers and were completely worth the money. It's just that it's not easy to ask Lu Chan to write a song now. He basically writes a song in 10 days on average. The invitations are almost at the end of the year. If you want to jump the queue, you have to rely on your relationship. Su Qingmei was here to cut the queue. Fortunately, Lu Chan gave him a lot of face and happily agreed. His studio had a good working relationship with Light Rain Media. Light Rain Media had several newcomers that appeared in Full of Romance. Although they were not important characters, they were still considered partners. As for the bionics, there was no need to mention it. Su Qingmei's mood immediately improved. She smiled and said, thank you so much. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. After a brief hesitation, Lu Chan tactfully refused. Unfortunately, I have an appointment tonight. Su Qingmei asked sourly. With your family's one? The one in Lu Chen's house was naturally the beloved Miss Chen Fei. Ever since the relationship between Lu Chan and Chen Fei was made public, the heavenly queen of the music industry entered the rhythm of daily public displays of affection. From time to time, she would post photos on her blog to bully the single people. However, she did not delay her career because of this. Instead, she moved from the pop music industry to the film and television industry. Both of her TV series became the ratings champion and her popularity continued to rise. Who knew how many people in the industry were envious and jealous? In the beginning, some people said that Lu Chan was lucky to have a relationship with the heavenly queen and that he could live off a woman. But now, who could say that? Su Qingmei sometimes thought that if she had taken down Lu Chan at all costs when Lu Chan had just emerged, what would Light Rain Media be like now? In fact, Light Rain Media was a small temple that could not accommodate such a great god. Lu Chan did not expect Su Qingmei to think so much. He nodded and replied, yes, let's go together next time. During this period of time, Chanfer was busier than him. She first went to Korea and then there was a domestic endorsement event. She signed a contract and had to attend all of them. Today she had just returned to Beijing. Therefore, Lu Chan did not want anyone to disturb their date tonight. Okay then. Su Qingmei was not a clingy person. She put away her bag and with that strange thought in her heart, she slowly stood up and said, next time, I'll treat you to a drink at Forget Worries Bar. I haven't been there for a long time. Lu Chan smiled and said, okay. He personally sent Su Qingmei out. After sending Su Qingmei off, Lu Chan returned to his office and saw Lu Shi sitting in his seat. His sister held a piece of paper in her hand and warned Lu Chan, "This Chief Su is a little bit interested in you. You have to know your limits and don't cause any scandals." Lu Shi and Su Qingmei had met a few times and knew each other, but her sister was not very interested in this charming woman. Lu Chan did not know whether to laugh or cry. "Sister, what are you talking about?" He remembered that Lu Shi had warned him once before. He did not expect her to mention it again. Was Su Qingmei interested in him? Lu Chan didn't see it, and he wouldn't think too much about it. Moreover, he already had Chun Fair in his career. Lu Shi curled her lips. "It's fine as long as you know what you're doing." She waved the paper in her hand and said, "These are the media that have made appointments to interview you. There are also the program invitations from various TV stations. Whether you want to go or not, it's up to you." Lu Chan took it and looked at it. He felt that his head was getting bigger. There were dozens of densely listed on it. Beijing Television, Zhejiang Satellite TV, Shanghai Satellite TV, Hygiene Satellite TV, QQ, Chaolu, EasyNet, Entertainment Weekly, New Youth Daily. Lu Shi had obviously filtered out the small media, otherwise the number would have been at least several times higher. These big media were not easy to offend, but if he agreed to all of them, he would probably have to split himself into several pieces. Otherwise, he would not be able to do anything else. Looking at Lu Chen's frowning face, his sister was in a good mood. "Oh, you can study it slowly. Say hello to Fair for me tonight." Lu Chen nodded weakly. Chapter 404. The road that the wind blows is still far away. Where is your story? In the recording studio, Lu Chan, who was wearing a huge monitoring headset, finished singing the last sentence of The Ordinary Road. He opened his eyes again and saw Wang Hui giving him a thumbs up through the thick glass. Lu Chen smiled, gave Wang Hui a thumbs up, and then took off the headset. He was recording his second album. After careful consideration, The Ordinary Road would be the title song of the new album. So far, more than half of it had been completed, and it was expected to be on the market at the end of August. For Lu Chan, it felt really good to be back in the recording studio again. Nowadays, Lu Chan did not lack fame or fortune. His work life was busy and fulfilling, shooting TV shows, endorsing advertisements, and participating in various activities. But only here could he find his original love for music. The closed recording studio was isolated from all noise. Standing inside, he could hear his heartbeat and the sound of blood flowing. When the familiar accompaniment music sounded in the headset, he just wanted to sing. Most importantly, this was Lu Chen's own recording studio. There were no restrictions, and he could pursue perfection unscrupulously. In just a day or two, Lu Chen found the right feeling. The recording of one song after another was very smooth, and he could not stop. But that was enough for today. "Thank you for your hard work." Lu Chen walked out of the recording studio and said to Wang Hui, who was sitting in front of the tuning console, "Go to Beijing World tonight and spend as much as you want with my card." Beijing World was a food city in the business district near the New Era Art Park. It gathered delicious food and snacks from all over the world. The food was cheap and the business was excellent. After Lu Chen's studio moved here, Lucy applied for 2 prepaid membership cards in Beijing World. From time to time, she would take everyone to have a sumptuous meal, which could be regarded as a small benefit of the studio. In the past few days, Wang Hui has also worked hard. He is often busy until late at night. Although Lu Chen is not in a hurry to release his second album, for this technical otaku, being idle seems to be like a sin. Taking the membership card from Lu Chen, Wang Hui said shyly, "Thank you, boss." He added, "Next week I'll definitely finish it." Lu Chen smiled and said, "Actually, you don't have to rush. It's okay to take it slow. Just do your best." Wang Hui said without hesitation, "That's a must. This album will definitely surpass You Who Sat Next to Me." Lu Chen's debut solo album, You Who Sat Next to Me, was also recorded by Wang Hui, but at that time Wang Hui was still using his own recording studio and equipment, which was completely incomparable to what he has now. The renovation and equipment of Lu Chen Studio's recording studio cost nearly 10 million yuan. Although it couldn't be compared with the top sheds, it was definitely at the first-class level in China. For Wang Hui, who is obsessed with professionalism, Letting him independently take charge of such a recording studio built completely according to his own ideals is like a mouse being transferred to a rice jar, which is extremely satisfying. Under such circumstances, Wang Hui can't tolerate any slack or relaxation in his work. He can only use his hardest work to repay Lu Chen's trust and support. Lu Chen smiled and patted Wang Hui on the shoulder. "Drink some water." At this time, a bottle of mineral water was handed to Lu Chen. "Thank you." Lu Chen took it, unscrewed the cap, took 2 sips and asked, "When did you come?" It was Wang Jing who handed him the water. Wang Jing blinked and replied, "I just came. Ouyang and the others are outside." At the beginning of the year, Lu Chen took over the original Nirvana studios and reformed the Nirvana band. After the Nirvana band settled in their new home in Lu Chen's studio, under the arrangement of Lu Chen, in addition to the usual tasks of accompaniment and following the performance, they also went to other places such as Forget Grass Bar. Especially during the period when Lu Chen was busy shooting TV series, the Nirvana band spent most of their time running in addition to practicing, using this to constantly improve their ability level, maintain and temper their own skill level. As for the remuneration of the Nirvana band for running the venue, Lu Chen's studio did not take a penny. In this way, the Nirvana band is not only loyal to Lu Chen, but also their progress is very obvious. The quality of the accompaniment of Lu Chen's new album is much better than that of You Who Sat Next to Me. In the Nirvana band, Wang Jing is the well-deserved soul. She is the arranger, lead singer and guitarist. The harmony of several songs in Lu Chen's new album was also completed by Wang Jing. Lu Chen said with a smile, "That's just right. You can go to Beautiful World together and let everyone have a good meal." Wang Jing asked, "Aren't you going?" Lu Chen shook his head. "I have an appointment with Fair tonight. She just came back." Wang Jing nodded silently and suddenly said, "We are not going to go out for a while and concentrate on practicing your works. I want to rearrange several songs and make a live version." Lu Chen has plans to hold his own solo concert at the end of the year, and the Nirvana band will definitely participate in the whole process. It is rare for a singer's concert to be accompanied by a live band, and it is very low. Lu Chen said with a smile, "That's fine. It's estimated that it will be at least November." "By the way," he asked Wang Jing, "have you ever thought about releasing your own band single or album?" Wang Jing was obviously not prepared for Lu Chen's question and was stunned. Nirvana band's own album? For a long time, whether it is Wang Jing or the others in the Nirvana band, they have positioned themselves as Lu Chen's exclusive band and the studio's professional band. They have never thought of releasing a band album, because they are working for Lu Chen. On the contrary, Wang Hui reacted faster and asked hesitantly, "Boss, can we do it?" Wang Hui is also a member of the Nirvana band, but he belongs to the non-staff and can only play when needed. Lu Chen said with a smile, "Why not? The studio has all the conditions. Think about it yourself." He looked at the time and said, "I'll go first. You all go to dinner." Wang Jing looked at the background of Lu Chen's departure. She bit her lip and her eyes flashed with a complicated light. Wang Hui said cautiously, "Sister, actually." Before he finished speaking, he was knocked on the head by Wang Jing. "Actually what? Let's go." Wang Hui could only hold back the words he wanted to say with tears in his eyes. He had to be glad that he didn't say it, otherwise he would probably be unable to take care of himself. Although Wang Hui is a homebody, he is not stupid. Chapter 405. There were 5 to 6 wooden tables and dozens of dining chairs in the courtyard of a shabby house in the depths of an old alley. This was Master Chen's private kitchen. The tables were a little old. The paint was dark, but it was wiped clean. The dining chairs were almost the same. However, they were a little shaky when sitting on them. People were worried that they would directly collapse. Of course, it was impossible to turn on the air conditioner in the open-air courtyard. There was an electric fan in the corner. It blew and swayed from side to side, sending cool air to drive away the heat of summer. Compared with those formal restaurants, the environment here was definitely terrible. However, the customers who came one after another didn't eat the environment but the taste. Lu Chen hadn't been here for a long time, but nothing had changed here. He came with Chen Fei. Master Chen's private kitchen had always had a good business. It didn't accept reservations. If you wanted a table in the small courtyard, you had to come early or late. Luchan and Chen Fei came at 7 o'clock in the evening. It was just past the peak time for dinner, so they didn't need to wait for a table. They ordered braised lion's head, 3 sets of duck, squirrel mandarin fish, boiled shredded dried meat, and 2 baskets of crab meat buns. These were authentic Huayang dishes, which were Lu Chen's favorite dishes and Master Chen's signature dishes. The braised lion's head, which had been simmering in the clay pot for a long time, was served first. Big lion's head was in the pot. The thick red sauce was steaming hot, and the fragrance was very tempting. Luchan used chopsticks and a spoon to pick up a small piece for Chen Fei. The latter carefully ate a few mouthfuls and couldn't help but show a surprised expression. "It's delicious." Luchan smiled and said, "That's good. I was afraid that you wouldn't like it." Today, Chen Fei had just returned to the capital. The two hadn't seen each other for a while, so they made an appointment to have dinner together in the evening. For some reason, Luchan suddenly thought of Master Chen's private chef, so he brought Chen Fei to this old place on the 3rd Ring Road to have a sumptuous meal. A bottle of red wine that cost tens of thousands of yuan and a steak that cost thousands of yuan could certainly bring enjoyment to the taste buds, but beer that cost a few yuan and braised meatballs that cost tens of yuan were not inferior at all. How could that be? Chen Fei shook his head and said, "Of course I would like such delicious food. Besides, the most important thing about eating is not what you eat, but who you eat with." There was a smile on her face, and her eyes were as gentle as water, intoxicating. Luchan hadn't drunk yet, so he was a little tipsy. Although it was the same dish, the taste was really different, more delicious. "I used to live in a basement near here and Li Feiyu was my neighbor." Luchan told Chen Fei about the past. "When it's time to get paid, we come here to have a meal to satisfy our cravings. I like the braised meatballs made by Master Chen the most. I really want to eat it today." Chen Fei listened quietly, then ate a few mouthfuls of food, and put more food in Lu Chen's bowl. The dinner was very heartwarming. When Lu Chen was about to pay the bill and leave, several girls walked over hesitantly. One of them asked, Excuse me. You are Lu Chen Fei, right?" Not knowing whether it was because of excitement or nervousness, her face was flushed. Several girls were also eating here, and then they noticed Lu Chen and Chen Fei sitting not far away. At first, they didn't dare to rashly disturb them, but now they finally mustered up the courage to do so. Lu Chen and Chen Fei looked at each other and smiled. Both of them wore sunglasses when they came, and of course they took them off when eating, so it was normal for them to be recognized. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Yes, hello." Hello. The girl who got a friendly response was even more excited. Can we take a photo together? I'm your fan." Lu Chen nodded. Of course. He had met many fans now, and as long as the time was right, he would satisfy all requests for photos and autographs. Yay! The little girl was so happy that she immediately jumped to Lu Chen's side, hugged his arm, and then made a victory sign to her companions, and smiled like a blooming spring flower. Her companions had already taken out their mobile phones and were snapping a few photos in a row. Then they took one after another, and of course they also took a few photos with Chen Fei, and quickly posted them on their WeChat moments. Lu Chen and Chen Fei patiently accompanied them to finish the selfie. The two of them were very consistent when it came to treating their fans, unlike some celebrities who took the cold route and always ignored their fans. So the fans of both of them were very united. After taking the photos, Lu Chen quickly pulled Chen Fei away, because there were other guests in the small courtyard watching. If other people were to come over to watch, it would be a little difficult to escape. Xian's car was waiting at the entrance of the alley outside, and Lu Chen asked her to send him and Chen Fei to Hohai. "I'm so full tonight." Hand in hand as they strolled along the lake, Chen Fei happily complained, "At least I've gained more than half a kilo." Lu Chen laughed. "How much do you weigh? It doesn't matter if you gain a kilo." Chen Fei paid a lot of attention to maintaining her figure, and insisted on doing yoga every day, so her weight was the perfect standard. Chen Fei asked, "Then do you like the fat me or the thin me?" Lu Chen said, "I like you, I don't care if you're fat or thin." Chen Fei laughed. "Sweet words and honeyed words, you only know how to coax me." Although she said that, she still smiled sweetly. After walking for a while, the two of them sat down on a bench by the side of the road. staring at the distant lights and sparkling waves. Chen Fei hugged Lu Chen's waist, leaning half of her body in his arms. She softly hummed. The most romantic thing I can think of is to slowly grow old with you, collecting bits and pieces of laughter along the way, leaving it for later, sitting on a rocking chair and slowly chatting. The most romantic thing I can think of is to slowly grow old with you. Until we're too old to go anywhere, you still think of me as a treasure in your hands. The song The Most Romantic Thing she sang was the second interlude written by Lu Chen for Full House of Romance. Together with another interlude song, Only for You, sung by Lu Chen, they were currently ranked 3rd and 7th on the original music chart. This was a delicate and gentle love song. It was warm and romantic, expressing a little woman's view of happiness through melody and lyrics. Therefore, it quickly became popular after it was broadcast on the TV series. The official version of the song Full of Romance, released by the official V account, had already broken the 10 million download mark. But for Lu Chen, whether it was the interlude on TV or the official version, it was far less touching than Chen Fei's soft humming at this moment. He held his lover in his arms, as if he had the whole world. Note: The Most Romantic Thing lyrics. Yao Ruolong / composer. Li Zhengfan. Chapter 406. Following the ratings of the 11th and 12th episodes of Full House of Romance on July 31st, the ratings of the 13th and 14th episodes, which were broadcast on August 5th, reached 3.45% and 3.56% respectively, getting closer and closer to Lu Chen's stated goal. At this time, even people with stubborn prejudices have to admit that Lu Chen's second TV series has achieved more success than Autumn in My Heart, and is bound to lead the domestic TV market again. A tragedy of sadomasochism, a romantic comedy, Lu Chen seems to have a pair of eyes that can see through people's hearts. He is always able to grasp the audience's preferences and create one miracle after another. However, the success of Full House of Romance has also made Shonan TV's Sea of Love fall into an extremely embarrassing situation. Its 15th and 16th episodes, which were broadcast on August 5th, finally fell below 1%. Why did they use the word finally? That was because on Waves's blog, Lu Chen's fans were eagerly looking forward to Sea of Love falling through the bottom line. The comment section of Hu Yang's blog was flooded with 1% messages. It was simply what everyone expected. This made Shonan TV, which had made a vigorous publicity campaign before the broadcast of Sea of Love, very embarrassed. The marketing methods that were originally aimed at Full House of Romance were now all turned around and slapped in the face. It didn't matter if they were slapped in the face. Anyway, Shonan TV has always been very thick-skinned. However, Sea of Love, which had a huge investment, had a rating of 1%, which was very terrible. Someone had to be responsible for such a bad situation, right? So the industry soon had news that the crew member who advocated head-on with Full House of Romance had been transferred, and Sea of Love was likely to change its broadcast time. Now it seemed that if Sea of Love had not fought head-on with Full House of Romance, the ratings would not have fallen to such a point. Since there was no place to buy medicine for regret, they could only make up for it. Sea of Love, which had been hyped up in full swing, failed to step on Full House of Romance. Instead, it was trampled by Full House of Romance. Naturally, the evaluation of Lu Chen in the industry reached a new height. If the success of his first drama Autumn in My Heart was due to luck, then the popularity of Full House of Romance could only mean that he was so strong, because no one could rely on luck to continuously create miracles. On the evening of August 8th, Lu Chen participated in the talk show National Star on the popular radio station FM 103.6. Pop Radio is a first-class commercial radio station and online radio station in China. It takes into account both traditional and new media. The programs cover film and television, music, digital, fashion, travel, food, and other content that young people like. Whether it is radio or online, there are many listeners. On the other hand, Star of the Whole People was a celebrity talk show launched by the popular radio station a few years ago. Its listenership was quite high and it had a certain influence in the industry. Therefore, after receiving an invitation from a pop radio station, Lu Chen did not refuse to appear on this program. The live broadcast began at 7:30 p.m. at the pop radio station's headquarters in Beijing. Good evening to the listeners in front of the radio, and good evening to the netizens. This is the popular radio station, FM 103.6. Welcome everyone to Star of the Whole People program. I am Demin. I am Xiaoxing. The two hosts of Star of the Whole People were a man and a woman. Their stage names Demin and Xiaoxing were quite famous. They had millions of fans on waves. Demin was about 30 years old. He wore glasses and looked gentle. His voice was clear and clean and he spoke humorously. His partner Xiaoxing was much younger. She had fair and beautiful long hair, and she had a pleasant and moving voice. Demin was the first to introduce. Tonight's Star of the Whole People. We have invited a famous singer-songwriter, a famous screenwriter and a famous actor. And they are actually the same person. Xiaoxing smiled and continued. He is teacher Lu Chan. Everyone please welcome him. The sound effects of the applause sounded, and Lu Chan said into the microphone, "Good evening, everyone. I am Lu Chan. It's a pleasure to chat with the two hosts on the pop radio station." Xiaoxing said, "First of all, I would like to congratulate Lu Chan. Full House of Romance, which was written, created and starred in by Lu Chan, broke through 4% in the ratings last night, setting a record for the same type of TV series in the past decade." Demin said, "Congratulations, Lu Chan." Lu Chan said with a smile, "Thank you." The 18th episode of Full House of Romance, which was broadcast on the evening of August 7th, broke through 4% in the ratings, reaching 6%. Although the industry had long expected this result, when it really happened it still caused a heated discussion. It became the headline of many entertainment media, and it once again attracted a wave of attention. For more than a decade, the domestic TV series market had developed rapidly. The number of TV series shot every year continued to increase, showing a thriving trend. However, it was also accompanied by fierce competition and the phenomenon of blindly following the trend. This was especially true for TV series with urban themes. Idol dramas and youth dramas were popular. In terms of theme and style, they mainly imitated Japanese and Korean dramas. Although there were more TV series, the average ratings were constantly declining. Many people attributed this to the impact of the internet on TV. As the main audience of idol dramas and youth dramas, young people had many choices for entertainment, and they preferred Japanese, Korean, and American dramas. This view had always existed. However, the success of Autumn in My Heart and Full House of Romance suddenly made everyone realize that in fact, domestic TV series also had great potential. Success did not depend on hype, scandals, or arguments, but creativity and sincerity. As a domestic TV series, the ratings of Full House of Romance in South Korea had exceeded 40%, far ahead of other local Korean TV series in the same period, causing the Korean media to cry wolf. Full House of Romance, which still had 7 episodes to go, had become a real phenomenon. The two hosts of Stars of the Nation naturally could not avoid this topic, so they first flattered it. Then they changed the topic to the male and female leads. Little Star said, "I have a listener here called Tynyak Attic. He said he would like to know, Teacher Lu Chan, who was the first to pursue Chunfer when you were in love?" When she asked Lu Chan, the host had a smile on her face. Obviously, she also wanted to know the answer. Stars of the Nation was a real live program. Radio listeners could interact with the host or the celebrities being interviewed through the hotline, while netizens could leave messages on the live website, and then the host would filter out the questions. This question was a little interesting. Chapter 407. Who chased who first? This question made Lu Chan recall how he and Chan Fei first met, became familiar with each other, and fell in love. A faint smile appeared on his face. Xiaoxing suddenly felt jealous. Lu Chan was very young, tall, handsome, and had a perfect image. He also had outstanding talent and a bright future. A person like him was undoubtedly the dream lover of many girls, but he was already taken. How lucky was it to be able to win Lu Chan's love? However, the person he loved was an existence that not many women could compete with. It really made people feel powerless to be jealous, and they did not even have the slightest confidence to compete. Lu Chan thought for a moment and replied, "Actually, no one took the initiative to chase who first. How should I put it? You met someone at a certain time and place, fell in love, and then the other person also fell in love with you, and the two of them naturally got together. This is basically my love story. Lu Chen's answer cleverly avoided the question of who was chasing who, and it was impeccable, making it impossible for people to solve the problem. Otherwise, whether he said that he or Chen Fei are chased first, it would be a laughingstock. Yes, a very beautiful love. Demin nodded, his eyes landing on the tablet screen. There's another question. A Pink Peach listener asked, Lu Chen, is Chen Fei your first girlfriend? If not, what was the reason for the breakup? The host had a smile on his face, and he looked a little mischievous. This question seems a little sensitive. Of course, you don't have to answer. Although he said he did not have to answer, he actually wanted Lu Chen to answer. Since it was sensitive, why ask? Lu Chen knew that the host had to create a highlight, and the host's limits were not too much. Of course, he did not have to answer, but avoiding the question would inevitably make people think that he had a guilty conscience and had some unbearable past. Therefore, answering such a question was better than not answering, and the key was how to answer it. He smiled and said, When I was in school, I fell in love like many people, but we broke up in the end. As for the reason, I think, at that time we were still too young to understand love. Demin and Little Star looked at each other and saw admiration in each other's eyes. Stars of the Nation had been on air for 2 years and had invited many celebrities. In the past, they had also talked about love, but there weren't many who could give such a meaningful answer like Lu Chen. Lu Chen was very young, but he seemed to have a deep understanding of love, as if he had already experienced the vicissitudes of life. What he brought to the two of them was really a wonderful feeling. At this moment, in the live broadcast room of the popular radio station Citizen's Star, the listeners started to flood the screen. Due to the preview of the program and the recent explosion of Lu Chen's popularity, the number of viewers listening to the popular radio station's live webcast was very high. As of now, it had exceeded 1.2 million and was still increasing. Such a popularity index was really rare in the past radio broadcasts of Stars of the Nation. I want to say that I'm not one of the many people who have never been in a relationship after graduating from university. Never talked about it. +1. We broke up when we graduated from university. Now that I think about it, I really want to cry. Yes, we didn't understand love when we were young. I'm very curious who Lu Chen's first girlfriend is. Do you think she is also listening to this program? Lu Chen, I want to hear you sing. Sing a song about love. I want to hear a song +10,000. The comments of these online listeners would be reflected on the screen in the broadcasting room in real time. The host Little Star smiled and said, So many listeners have said that they want to hear you sing a song about love. What do you think? Lu Chen did not refuse. Of course. Before going on the program, it was said that there would be a live singing segment, but it was just brought forward. Even the guitar had been prepared. Lu Chen took the guitar from the radio station staff and held it in his arms to test the tone. After building up his mood, he said into the microphone, This song is for love. It's called Because of Love. His voice turned into radio waves and signals, instantly transmitted thousands of miles away, and into the boundless online world. There was also the sound of the piano and singing. I'll give you a CD of the past, listen to our love at that time. Sometimes I suddenly forget that I'm still in love with you. I can't sing that kind of song anymore. Although I often forget that I'm still in love with you. Because love is not easily sad, therefore, everything seemed to be blissful. Because love grows simply, can still be crazy for you at any time. Gently plucking the strings, Lu Chen sang this song because of love from shallow to deep. As if he was telling his own love story, telling those sweet, warm and romantic stories. His simple playing and singing were like the simplest confession. There was a tinge of sadness in it, but it was full of deep nostalgia. It easily aroused people's desire for love from the bottom of their hearts. It was sincere and exquisite. Because how can love have vicissitudes so we're still young? Because love is in that place, there are still people wandering there, people coming and going. This song was originally a duet between a man and a woman, but Lu Chen slightly changed it to a solo. But what didn't change was the beautiful melody and touching lyrics. He chose this song not to find the feeling of first love again, but to treat his love with a more mature state of mind. Chen Fei should also be listening to this program, and he believed that she could understand his heart. As the audience at the scene, the hosts of National Star, Demin and Little Star, Listen very seriously and were very moved. Little Star even listened with red eyes. She was deeply moved by this song, Because of Love. In the online live broadcast room, the rolling comments never stopped. Because of love? I really want to be in love again. Why does it sound so good? 55555, I want to cry listening to it. As a single dog, I feel deeply hurt, and I don't want to listen to it anymore. Lu Chen's songs are really getting better and better. I like this love song. Lu Chen, I love you. At that time. Sighing, sad, admiring, expressing love. Thousands of comments became the footnotes of this song. As Lu Chen finished playing and singing, pa, 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 there was applause in the broadcasting room of the pop radio station. Applause from the two hosts. Tonight's program was already a success with this song. Because of Love. Note. Because of Love lyricist/composer. Little Ku. Chapter 408. Jiangcheng West District. Flying Dragon Internet Cafe. It was already late at night, but the smoky internet cafe was still filled to the brim. There weren't many empty seats. Wang Pu took a deep breath of the red 5 cigarette in his mouth and smoked the last bit of tobacco. Then, he reluctantly pressed the cigarette butt into the ashtray. The next moment, he puffed out the smoke, straightened his back and opened his arms, looking energetic. Wang Pu opened the QQ group skillfully, his fingers flying on the keyboard. Brothers, get ready to vote. The same content was quickly copied to the other two groups. The group members responded immediately. Don't worry, group owner. My 15 recommendation votes are dying. Just waiting for 12 o'clock. 2V's 9 tickets. I will buy them all this week. You guys get ready, I will send some tips first. Damn, Taheo, you are here too. Please hug my leg, please whip me. You must get on the recommendation list on the homepage. Looking at the comments that flashed across the screen, Wang Pu felt his blood boiling. He felt like he was commanding an army of thousands of men and horses to charge and break through enemy lines. Just after 12 o'clock, he pressed the confirm button in the voting column and gave all the 7 recommendation votes to the smiling, the proud wanderer. After 12 o'clock it will be Monday, and according to the rules of Insperbooks, the hit list, recommendation list, and gift list on the homepage will be reset and refreshed. So this is the best time to grab a prominent position on the list. As a loyal fan of the Smiling Proud Wanderer and the owner of the group of 3,000 readers of the Smiling Proud Wanderer, Wang Pu had been planning this action for several days. He had mobilized a large number of members in the group, as well as the book bar and the forum. Wang Pu had been suppressing his anger. The Smiling, the Proud Wanderer was first released on Waves on May 27th, and it had been updated for more than 2.5 months until August 14th. The number of updated words had reached more than 400,000. Clicks, 235600, recommendations, 225647, favorites, 6690, comments, 23,690. Without any recommendation, it was a small miracle that the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer could get such a result. The click-through ratio was close to 1, which beat many books on the list. However, with such a good result, the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer was still unsigned. It seemed that Waves didn't even care about the existence of the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer. Wang Pu felt deeply insulted that he couldn't even sign a contract with such a good book. Since he discovered this martial arts novel on Insperbooks, he quickly became a loyal fan, and reading it twice a day has become a habit of his life. As the number of words increased, the story of the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer was getting better and better. The exciting plots made him unable to stop. There were several times when he wanted to save a few chapters to read, but when it came to the end, he clicked on the webpage as if he was possessed. This made Wang Pu curious about the author of the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer. He tried to contact him many times through text messages, but there was no response. In Wang Pu's opinion, Memories of Present and Ancient should be a talented and capable writer who did not understand the rules of online literature. Other than diligently updating daily, he did not know how to interact with readers and did not advertise himself. He was like an old ox that silently plowed the land, but it didn't matter. Wang Pu created several reader groups and advertised in the book review section and Tieba forum to attract people. He managed to unite a large number of old buy readers who also liked the book. Wang Pu definitely contributed to the smiling, the proud wanderer's current success. He didn't ask for the gratitude of the smiling, the proud wanderer or anything else. He just didn't want this good book to be buried. It couldn't be buried either. Many readers felt the same as Wang Pu. They were angry about the smiling, the proud wanderer. That was why this ranking competition was born. Once the smiling, the proud wanderer was on the list, waves couldn't continue to ignore it. Unless they were all blind. The group logo at the bottom right corner of the screen was flashing crazily. In the 3,000 reader groups of the smiling, the proud wanderer, many people were posting pictures of their achievements. The so-called pictures of achievements were screenshots of votes, including GIFs. The more votes and GIFs, the better it was. Because of their collective action, the smiling, the proud wanderer's weekly recommendation votes were increasing rapidly. After 10 minutes, it was at the top of the list with 3,780 votes. The three groups were instantly filled with cheers. Ha ha ha. It is at the top of the list. That's it. Yes, there is strength in numbers. Good job, everyone. It's not challenging at all. I have prepared 3V accounts and 25 recommendation votes. It would be great if we could stand for a week. Wang Pu said hurriedly. Don't be too happy. Our opponents are very strong. Those who have votes, please continue to vote. Even if we could stand for a day, it would be great. Although the smiling, the proud wanderer was at the top of the list with their efforts, it was only temporary. Those popular books on the website had far more readers. Once they started, they could easily destroy their efforts. Wang Pu chose to make use of the time difference so that the smiling, the proud wanderer could stand on the list as long as possible. His ultimate goal was to get this book signed and get a chance to recommend it. Wang Pu also believed that as long as the smiling, the proud wanderer was recommended by the website, its results would definitely soar. The group members all agreed with him. Don't worry, group leader. We won't waste our votes. I will go to other groups and ask for as many as I can, at least one day on the front page. In fact, there are not many people in the group. There will be more today. Anyway, I will give all my votes to the smiling, the proud wanderer this week. Support a good book. Support group leader. Wang Pu felt warm in his heart. He did these things not for fame or profit, but purely out of his love for the smiling, the proud wanderer. He was really satisfied to have so many readers supporting him. After thinking for a while, Wang Pu said, "Thank you, everyone. It's late. Go to bed early. We will see the results tomorrow. Good night." Wang Pu closed the QQ group and went to the bar to pay the bill. He left the Flying Dragon Internet Cafe and ate a bowl of noodles at a nearby restaurant. Then he went back to his rented apartment and slept. Wang Pu had a dream. He dreamed that he was in the Jianghu full of swords and swords in the book. And he himself was the protagonist of the chivalrous act.